Hello, everybody, and welcome to the grand finale of the deepest dive on Metal Gear Solid Delta / Metal Gear Solid 3. I'm Ben Hansen. This is the best, most thorough discussion about that game on the internet. I'm joined by Haley McLean.
Ugh.
That's the sound of, let's see, when you get a splint.
Yeah.
Okay. We're joined by Charles Hart.
Ugh, disgusting.
Perfect. We're joined by Kyle Hilliard.
So much
I was trying to remember the quote. She said, like, loyalty to the mission or loyalty to me. Or isn't that what she says, I think, at some point?
Just perfect, Kyle. We're also joined by
voice.
Giant Bombs Dan Ryckert.
I want some more.
Yeah. He's still got it, folks.
Right,
this guy's still around, by God. Welcome, Dan.
Hello, hi, thanks for having me.
It's an honor to have you. So in this discussion, there are two discussions before this. There's a previous 5 hours of us talking about Metal Gear Solid 3, Metal Gear Solid Delta on MinnMax's YouTube channel. You can check it out if you want. For the grand finale discussion here, we're covering everything from after the Sorrow boss fight up through the credits. If you're a rookie, we're talking about the little thing after the credits as well, and some more things surrounding that. Let's unpack it. But I was debating, like, well, it's kind of nice to keep the same crew, but should we shake it up? Should we invite Dan in for the final episode? He's probably pent up. He wants to talk about 3. And then I saw you post on Blue Sky. And literally, as I was debating this, I see a post pop up that says, I keep forgetting the boss went to space. I'm like, all right, Dan, how can I not have you on to unpack this and talk about the fact that the boss went to space? Because I also keep forgetting that the boss went to space.
The timing is great because, like, I played through it at the same event that Kyle went to in New York not too long ago, and so it was, a month or two ago. But just now, my sister Kayla was streaming the whole thing, and so I was literally like 2 or 3 days ago watching this whole kind of last chunk. So like the timing is perfect for this.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you here. It's so nice too. We don't need to tiptoe around spoilers for Metal Gear Solid 3 at this point. We are not going to spoil future entries in a huge way. If we touch on some things that are like in the trailers for future entries and stuff, we'll give you a heads up and a warning, but no longer do we need to tiptoe around this. Dan, I just want some credit for how good I think I've been in this entire discussion. Not once in 5 hours did I call him Big Boss. I called him Naked Snake the entire time, just in case.
But that's not a spoiler.
I think if you're going into this and there's a character called the Boss, and for the last 2 episodes, it was like, is he going to kill the boss? I don't know how it's all going to work.
Hang on. Now, if you're not worried about spoilers, do you remember I watched all the trailers for 3? Like, this is the most obsessed I've ever been with the game before it came out. I spent 2 years on fucking forums, like frame by framing trailers and stuff like that, and you could put together the entire story of this game just by watching the trailers. I mean, it's literally like, you got to go in there and Killer Snake, and it ends with him crying at a grave and saluting, and like it's so why them in the flower field, like all of that shit was in the trailers.
I hear you. Here's my point, Dan. Here's my point.
To the point where I thought that it was a bait and switch thing because of what they did with Raiden and the 2 thing with the trailers. I was like, oh, they're making it seem like they're giving away too much, but this is going to be like the virtuous mission is a virtual mission, and Solid Snake's got to put on a VR thing and play through his dad's mission to find out where Ocelot went with Metal Gear Ray, stuff like that.
I loved 2 so much that I was 100% convinced we were coming to the present over the course of Metal Gear Solid 3. I was certain that the end was going to take place in the present and follow up with the events of 2. To the point where I was disappointed in 3 the first time I played it.
Me too. I was disappointed because on those message boards and stuff I was on, there was a leaked casting sheet that broke, I want to say like maybe a year before the game came out. And it was really like for the voice, I was super deep on it. And it was like, okay, here's the bosses. They're named the boss, the fear, the pain. I was like, okay, they would have more unique names than that. They always have crazy names. It's not just going to be the something. And then it's like, the whole thing is just set in 1963, 1964. And I was like, no, I bet Kojima leaked this casting sheet to throw us off the trail. Like I was so like even in the trailer, there's the thing where he's saluting and you hear Eva, the voiceover saying half of what we were told was a lie. The other half was a conveniently constructed lie or half truth or something. Yeah. And I was like, oh, they're even hinting in the trailer that that's not what the game is. So like, yes, I was, Kyle, I'm with you. I was kind of disappointed at first being like, man, I gotta find out what's going on. Ocelot jumped away with that Metal Gear Ray. What's going on?
And even there was some interview too with Kojima where he said that like, oh, it's about like the ramifications of the Cold War. So I totally was in the same camp where I'm like, it's going to be in the 60s and then you're going to jump back and forth and it's going to be like, oh, the impacts of the story, you're going to see it play forward in the modern day and stuff. And like, I think the closest it gets to that is it's interesting playing through it now. It feels so much like a game from 2004, I'd argue, where they're just obsessed with referring to the 21st century. Just like throughout the entire game, they're always like, well, you know, in the 21st century, who knows if Russia and America are going to be friends? In the 21st century, it was like, okay, I don't think people in 1964 are constantly being like, boy, the 21st century right on the horizon, eh? Winky, winky, which I guess
maybe
is
they'll
them.
make even more Godzilla movies one day.
Exactly.
Maybe the 50th anniversary of Godzilla.
Dan, when is this? Your Metal Gear Solid Game Informer video? That's 2003.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So that's right when you're obsessed with all this, right? Does that
actually, because it came out November 04. So holy shit. Yeah, I probably then was at full blown obsession, which is why it's like, okay, the first thing I'm going to pitch is this Metal Gear thing. Yeah. No, seriously, that was me like 18, 19, peak Metal Gear obsession. Yes.
Yeah, but the reason that you should shut up, Dan, is because Charles Hart, because Charles Hart and Haley aren't reading through the forums speculating about the future release of Metal Gear Solid 3. I'm saying for the purpose of this discussion, I feel like it would color it if you kept referring to this guy who's only been called Jack or John or Naked Snake if you start referring to him as Big Boss. Even though I'd imagine colloquially you all were hip to him as Big Boss.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like even
What's the alternative? Is the alternative that it's Solid Snake? Like what other
Naked Snake? The name they say the entire game, it's just Naked Snake. What are you talking about?
Naked Snake.
Naked Snake.
I just don't really have any connection to the NES games, really.
No.
You know, I've never played those, so like it wasn't something I was really thinking about. It did almost feel like a twist to me to kind of go back and learn. I don't know, Haley and Charles, maybe you guys don't know what I'm talking about, but like Big Boss is the boss of like Metal Gear NES. Like you're basically
like a bad guy boss.
Like the final boss of Metal Gear NES is like Naked Snake.
Wasn't it us being like, hang on, we're going to spoil future entries.
The context I was missing is that Big Boss is ever a bad guy. If that's what you're
interesting.
saying.
Wait, okay. Okay. So which ones have you played?
I have played Metal Gear. Okay, so I played Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2, and admittedly haven't internalized all that much of the intricacies of the
What's wrong with you?
Those first two games?
Because it always starts out and it's like, you don't really know what's going on. And then this is how I felt in this game. At the start, I'm like, what's going on? And in the middle, I'm like, I'm locked in. I'm understanding. I'm putting the pieces together. At the very end, you get so much like nuance and proper nouns thrown at you that I have a hard time really remembering. But I knew that Big Boss, like before I played the games, I knew that it was just a joke that people were like, well, Big Boss and Solid Snake are different people, and this game is this one, and that one is whatever. So that's like the only context I knew is that this guy was apparently called Big Boss and didn't know that much else about it.
I mean, in the first one, the thing Liquid Snake wants outside of, nuking everybody is he wants the corpse of Big Boss and talks to Snake all the time about how like, you killed your father.
Yeah. But Dan, remember that Charles is a human being who played through a game once. He hasn't internalized this and kind of built his whole life.
You didn't make
and
your entire personality? What's wrong with you?
I also was.
You didn't use it to kickstart your career in games journalism?
We were gearing up to do some kind of like spoiler breakdown on the Game Informer show when I played it like a year ago or whatever. And I played 1 and 2, and I was going to like talk to Kyle about it. And I guess, I don't know. Yeah, I just never. Haley, was this any news to you, or is this like a thing, or?
Oh, I thought they all were just Snake. I didn't know there was different ones.
But it was the 60s, right?
Well, I learned it during. I played 5, and I was like, "It's Snake." And then, like,
when does 5 take place? That's also like
the late 60s, early 70s.
5 is 80s.
Oh, is it 80s? Is it 80s?
80s?
Okay, yeah. Peace Walker's
makes sense,
earlier.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I didn't even know what was going on. I just liked the horse. I liked the dog. I liked going to the bases.
Yeah.
I wasn't really paying that much attention. So, when I was playing, I was already like a third of the way through this, and my partner had to correct me because I was calling him Solid Snake. He's like, "This isn't Solid Snake." I was like, "What do you mean?" And he had to explain that whole concept to me.
He only looks exactly like him and has the same voice actor. I don't know why you would be confused about this, Haley.
Has the same eye issues as all his children.
The question, Ben, before we started, you were talking about spoilers and stuff, and it's like, okay, so we're not going to talk about like 4, because I assumed you meant chronologically, like the game's coming out. But then somebody mentioned Metal Gear 1 and 2, and you're like, whoa, don't spoil. But those games are older, so like, are you saying?
Sorry, yeah,
on
I kind of got crazy.
No, that's fine. I feel like people that are going to play those MSX games, God bless you, they're cool, and it is kind of like a fun factoid type of thing. But I'm more worried about people that might want to go on to the series not spoiling everything possible.
But Metal Gear 1 and 2 were like.
I understand that, but if this is their first entry point, we'd pitch this as like it's a good place to jump in for Metal Gear. And
okay.
Again, you're a cool person if you're like, and now on to Metal Gear 1 and 2. That is awesome. But I just think that's a tall order.
I did that, and they not too great to play.
I don't know. I think Running Man's a pretty cool boss. I don't know, Dan.
There are cool things that happen in those games, but playing any of them, and I'll throw Ghost Babel in there, did not enjoy it that much.
Yeah.
Ghost Babel's a little better though, for sure.
For its time and for a Game Boy game, yeah.
Here's the important thing, everybody. This is the deepest dive in Metal Gear Solid Delta. Thank you if you're watching this on YouTube. Again, go back and check out the previous discussions if you want even more. And if you're looking at the running time here, speaking of Running Man, if you're looking at the running time of this YouTube video and you're like, this is egregious. I would listen to this as a podcast, I guess, but on YouTube, ugh, stinky poo-poo. I understand. You can support MinnMax on Patreon at the $5 tier, and then you unlock the bonus podcast feed, which has Bonus Pod, Haley's weekly wonderful podcast, Max spoilers, early ad-free access to the MinnMax show, and the podcast version of all of the deepest dives, all of them that we've ever done, including Dan joining us for the deepest dive on Super Mario 64. Is that the only one you joined for?
Yeah, after 3D All-Stars came out, yeah.
Yeah. And so you can unlock all that in a bonus podcast feed. You support us at that $5 tier. It goes right in your favorite podcast app. And if you support us on Patreon at that $5 tier, or if you upgrade your tier, but $5 tier and above, if you join us before September 29th, we'll DM you on Patreon with a Steam code for the Rogue Prince of Persia.
Good game.
Yeah, good game. Certainly underrated from the developers of Dead Cells, the developers who've been maintaining and creating more content for Dead Cells. That is the Rogue Prince of Persia here. Dan, I was just listening to you on the Bombcast talk about like, Minotti was like, hey, Rogue Prince of Persia is good, everybody. And you had this panic of like, I know a year from now I'm going to play it and say this is good. Why wasn't I paying more attention?
Yeah, and I absolutely will. And I'm sure it'll be good when I play it next summer. But a lot of other stuff right now.
Well, there we go. So we have 50 Steam codes to give away for the Rogue Prince of Persia. We'll post on Blue Sky, Instagram, Discord if we run out of codes. But again, jump in at that $5 tier. We'll DM you on Patreon with that Steam code for the Rogue Prince of Persia. And then also unlock the podcast version of this here show. Thanks for supporting it as we go. Here we go. Haley, a lot of love for you, believe it or not. Andres says, wanted to shout out Haley's VOD, which is on the MinnMax Stream Archives channel. Too busy with work to replay this, but having it on a second screen and watching her to react to Kojima's nonsense was a great alternative. And Contraboss says, the best part of this remake was undoubtedly Haley cosplaying as Snake for her final stream. Very bold, Haley.
That mustache hurt.
Did you do an eye patch too?
Yeah, I did an eye patch. I didn't have my glasses on, and I was so blind. I took it off at the end, and like my depth perception was I truly was like this for half an hour afterwards. It was really fun, but Jesus Christ, like that final boss fight was so difficult. It was literally about like trying to see her in the flowers, and she's also wearing white, and it's hard to see her. And I was just like, where the is she? Jesus Christ, I literally couldn't find her.
But also it's very funny because like how often does that happen to you when there are actual scenes of Snake losing his depth perception and trying to grab a butterfly as you're also struggling with that? It's kind of...
I was like, this is kind of appropriate because I'm literally method acting as Snake struggling with this new hindrance to his vision right now. So this makes sense.
It is very fun because, believe it or not, like this game's very important to us, to Dan and Kyle and I. Apparently, based on the views for the deepest dive on Metal Gear Solid Delta, we're the only people on Earth who this game is important for. But hey, we appreciate people sticking around.
Really?
But
I thought people were liking it.
I think they are. This has been the lowest viewed deepest dive since Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis.
It is surprising.
Like, it is
because
just...
none of us are wearing zip-down bikini shirts.
Oh.
Hello, that's what you want metal.
I'm holding R1.
Sir, I'm holding R1. But it's very funny because like, oh, is this a sacred ground? The ending of this game is so important. And I went and checked on your stream, Haley, and I didn't realize you're going to be doing like role playing through the entire thing. And then on top of that, it was like you battling the boss, and it was like in a crocodile outfit with like a rainbow flag on your head. Yeah, and I was like, what have you done? As you're like, oh, I'm having trouble reloading. It's like, oh, this is just a different tone than I was expecting for you experiencing the end of this game.
Why the hell was the crocodile outfit with the France face paint the best thing I could wear in the flowers?
It really, like scientifically, it actually said that was the safest and the best?
Math-wise, that's the best thing I could wear.
Look, have you ever been to
the
war?
main menu?
Yeah, if anything, I was going to the main menu too much. The chat was like, just use the up D-pad. Why are you going to the main menu every time? I was messing it up that way too.
Because there's snow camo.
Yeah, I was totally in the snow camo.
I don't have it.
Well,
I was putting on...
The up D-pad thing I noticed doesn't do everything. So yeah, it's the main menu thing that should give you the full comprehensive list.
Well,
Best thing was crocodile in France.
Wow.
So I was the crocodile fighting my mother. And chat warned me to quickly change my outfit so that the final cutscene wasn't just like
Smart.
completely
Okay, I was
broken.
so worried about that.
I think it makes it better. Kayla, when I was watching her stream, she refused to take off the crocodile thing under any circumstances. So every single like somewhat romantic scene with Eva and stuff, it's just this giant snout clipping through her skull. It's incredible.
A scaly. Snake is a scaly.
Hell yeah. We got to a couple comments for people kind of mopping up previous episodes and previous discussions that we didn't get to. McGreevy points out that if in the prison cell you choose to leave the tracker embedded in Snake's back, when you crawl out of the river after the sorrow, there's going to be a troop of Ocelot commandos to fight through. And then you're rewarded by your ridiculous shadow routine with Eva performing wrestling moves on Snake while saying innuendos a la Austin Powers, Auction Powers / Rumormeister. Whereas you see the shadow on the wall of her trying to remove the tracker, and it is the most absurd, ridiculous scene you could possibly imagine.
She's putting him in a Boston crab, and they're making sex jokes. Yeah.
Yeah. Dan, sexy couple or sexiest couple, these two?
In games?
I'm
historically not horny about games, but I will say,
okay.
Yeah,
How's
maybe
it feel
sexiest?
to live my dream?
He's like, one day I'll be able to focus on one of these dang things.
This is the sexiest to you?
I guess it's like, because I can't.
I guess.
Well, it's like my thing is like, if Eva was a real person and just generally looked like that, then that would be a very attractive lady. Yes.
Right.
But she's polygon, so I can't really like, my brain doesn't put that together as a sexy thing.
And like Lola Bunny.
No, literally,
Jam?
like
Nothing.
this is a big
Don't
thing.
do it. Don't do it, Haley.
Everyone gets horny about.
anything.
I just don't have that gene or whatever. I just don't. God, like, hey, go on. No one's hurting anyone. Do your thing. Not yucking yums. I just don't. You remember my "Hear Me Out" cake from the charity drive?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh, yeah, it was
Real women in there, yeah.
Yeah, who was it? It was like the lady from The Wrestler. What was it again?
Marissa Tomei.
That was attractive role.
Wild. Hear me out. Yeah.
Just the hottest woman ever.
You should have just done 5 Marissa
that's crazy.
Tomei's, my cousin
Well,
Vinny.
there's Emily Blunt and Famke Janssen. And stuff.
Yeah. I'd let Emily Blunt touch me. Okay. Hear me out, guys.
Not me. I'm a married man.
Ah, of course. Who could forget? This has been an ongoing thing, is like Snake's lack of interest in Ava throughout this entire game. We've kind of been fascinated by it. And it was a thing of like, okay, I'm curious to see where it's going to land in this final episode, because now it's heating up, right? It's like there's still the distance between them, but then also, he puts his hand on her hand when they're throttling up in the MiG. There's presumably some hanky-panky happening in that Alaskan cabin, even though everything...
There's hanky-panky happening.
It's implied hanky-panky.
On the
You never know.
Tiger Row.
I will say the seeming gradual consent from Snake made me like it more. The way it starts out, and
the
she's
wearing down of Snake's consent.
just the way that she throws himself at him early on makes me kind of uncomfortable, because I'm just like, why is she acting like this? He's not giving any sign. It's putting me off. But then when he's like kissing her back, I'm like, okay. I mean, if he likes it, then it's fine. Just don't like. I will say I mentioned I recently proposed to my girlfriend. My fiance Alyssa was sitting on the couch next to me right when I started playing the sequence, and like right away it's the cave scene.
Yeah.
She just said out loud, "I hate this game." So she was not a fan of me. But
That is a difference between Solid Snake and Big Boss, because like they are very similar in just the way they look and talk and everything, obviously. But like Snake seems constantly horny, and he's always hitting on every woman on the codec that he talks to. But like no evidence that Snake has ever f***ed. Whereas like Big Boss never hitting on anyone, but Big Boss heavily implied f***ing at the end.
Well, yeah, but also it's the thing of like Solid Snake is also in the camp of like he'll hit on Mei Ling, but he's not like
And
slapping.
Naomi.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt Naomi, but he's not like slapping Meryl's butt. Like in person, he's not really like.
He does say like, "Oh, I noticed you have a great butt."
Yeah, he looks
does-
at her. He's not.
and brings
Well,
up
that's a
her butt
gameplay
to
mechanic.
her.
You have to. That's like that's
you have to identify her
R1.
butt. Yeah.
Well, that's art, you guys.
Thank
right.
you, Haley.
That's auteur
Come
stuff.
on.
Yes.
I
yes.
can say that.
Yeah.
And And it was also art.
Oh, it's happening on screen. It gives me the ick.
Yeah,
It's just like, girl, have some
What's
self-respect. She's crawling around the campfire in her little bikini.
Oh,
going,
okay.
ooh.
But I just think
It's
it's
like-
art when she says, I wouldn't mind eating you, Snake. When he talks about how she's so.
What's she
stuck up
talking
for him.
about?
I
It's,
made the snake eater joke episode 1,
Yeah.
and everyone was like, "Ew," but it's like
I laughed,
I called
Charles.
it. Yeah, you did. Like it was for Haley. So
Yeah,
I'll let
yeah,
go.
and it turns out
But
you
I
can't
didn't
beat
realize
it.
they
This
made
game
in
is
the
going to
game.
be yes. You cannot beat Kojima. He will just make that exact joke in the game. You can't get
Yeah.
around it. Charles, you were killing me, and not to jump to the very end. We're going to try and move somewhat chronologically, but you were killing me at the end of the last episode where we're trying to be really cagey about what was going on here. I probably hinted a little bit too much that maybe Sokolov's wife wasn't Sokolov's wife in a helicopter in the first episode. But what killed me is, Charles, you end the last episode by being like, and here's the thing, Ava's gun, I think that gun is actually, and I was like, he's going to notice that it was a Chinese weapon, that she's a Chinese spy. Like, you were right there, and it was all just to build up to you be like, it's a booby gun. And you were just making a boob joke. And I was like, you were like putting the pieces together for like, oh my God, he's going to put together she's a Chinese spy. We're right there. And then
would have
nothing.
been wild. That would have been
Crazy if I did
That would have been crazy.
Man, the context is that we made a BB gun joke earlier when referring to the
Pain,
pain,
yeah.
so I was trying to make a booby gun joke, and it did not land.
Also,
I was,
Was
Probably
it
for
quick
my
enough to where
benefit.
was it quick
I
enough
was-
to where people would remember you were just
it
saying
was-
BB, or you sat
was
on it for a while?
hours later, and my lead up was
That's a
far
problem.
too elaborate.
That's not good. No,
It didn't work
did
well.
not work out.
Sorry, yeah, we can fix it in post. It's fine.
Yeah, I didn't. It's out there, sorry. Michael M. writes in just about the Ava stuff. He says, I love how Ava's betrayal is such a big plot twist at the end of the game, but on repeated playthroughs, it becomes so obvious. Not only does she not know the answer to Snake's password question of who are the
That bugged
Patriots.
me.
Did you notice that, Haley?
Yeah, I said she hasn't said it yet. This is sus. And the plot just moved on. I'm like, nope.
You should have
I'm
brought it
not
up in the
forget that.
discussions. I was waiting for somebody because I didn't want to bring it up. That like, yeah, she clearly does not say lily lule lo.
She was hot, so I forgave her for her sins.
Yeah, it's a classic mistake.
Like Jesus.
Yeah, it says she tells you that the gun, excuse me, she tells you the gun she's carrying when she first meet her is a Chinese Type 17 pistol. And if you call Sigint after you first meet her, he'll say that firing stance Ava was talking about, where you hold the gun horizontally, that's a trademark of the Chinese. And then they ponder, I wonder where she learned to move like that. It's like pretty on the nose, but
Oh yeah, you say it's like a wide spread, and use the horse like the sweep to like, and it shows the slow mo. And it's like, oh, I never really noticed what they're trying to say there. Is like the the propulsion of the shots. Whatever.
right. But everybody who fires a gun in China, of course, has its exact strategy.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. Yeah.
Common knowledge.
I mean, we're bearing the lead here. You have finished the game. Charles, how are you feeling about the ending of Metal Gear Solid Delta?
Broadly, how am I feeling? I liked it. I like the game, and as it's all coming together, I was like, okay, game good. I like game. I want to establish that first, just to get my opinions before I just start picking things out that I'm trying to remember. Well, first of all, this is not important, but Haley mentioned horses earlier in Metal Gear Solid 5. The boss dies and the horse goes, ah! And I thought that was, I wrote down the horse for Haley.
Yeah, the horse is really going to get hit.
I yelled, the horses don't do that during my stream.
Okay.
That tracks.
They don't reach to the sky and grieve.
The one unrealistic thing in Metal Gear Solid 3. I think it kind of lost me. It got a little convoluted. Where once everything was said and done, I was like, okay, I understand like the sequence of events and things that happened, but I feel like I couldn't really appreciate the boss fight in the moment because I was like, I guess I understand he's killing her, but I still don't feel like I understand her motivations.
Yeah.
And then Eva reveals like she had this whole secret thing going on the whole time where it's like she knew she was going to have to die for the mission and it was like a whole tragic thing. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's beautiful. And I guess I understand why she wouldn't have told Snake because then he would have tried to like talk his way out of it.
And she wanted to like test his like, his spirit as a soldier. Like, oh, are you going to be loyal to me, someone you care about? Or are you going to be loyal as a soldier to your country? Like she kind of wanted to test him by not letting him know that.
But what I'm
but then also it was for the country because it was
No, that's what she wanted. She wanted the world to be whole. She wanted to like, just like, oh, hey, got some heat between America and Russia now. I guess I got to die. That was her goal, was peace, basically.
So that is the question though. I mean, how much should we listen to the words of the boss throughout the game versus how much is she just playing the long con? Like, does she really want the world to be one no matter what? Do you think that is a motivating mission that she's talking to the Cobra unit about like, this is why we're here, this is why we're fighting, is so that the world can be one? Because
I think the vibe the Cobra unit wasn't in on it.
I don't think so either.
But she did, I think, recruit them because that was her unit in World War II. So I think she kind of like came to Volgan being like, hey, look what I can offer you. All these cool dudes and you know, weapons and
Yeah, but it's
she
wild.
Used them essentially to get to the position where she could do her mission.
It's almost that, you know, not specifically, but, you know, like the Ocelot stuff of the long con, the constantly playing everyone to get to a defined final goal. I think that's, she was all about that final goal.
On the note of the Ocelot stuff, post-credits voiceover thing, that's Ocelot, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
The secret CIA. Okay, I thought so. It just didn't say so in like the subtitles. So I wasn't
interesting.
Like 100% sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because I guess it's in 1, he's the post-credits voice, and then 2, it's not him, but yeah, I guess he's the most famous post-credits voice in the series. The second one was more about the Patriots.
Right.
Like, yeah.
So Will D wrote in, they say, do you think the Cobra unit was trying to help Snake in their own weird way?
No, they were trying to kill him in real weird ways.
I thought I noticed that
died to
too.
them lots of times.
Well, I mean,
Fury was not being very helpful.
I hate the Fury. No,
I don't mind
he
him
came
at
back
all.
from space and tries to murder you.
But so they say the Sorrow most explicitly helps him by giving him the code to escape the jail cell, right?
But he's a ghost, so I mean, you know, he's on a different.
He's also like the boss's husband. Like they would be.
Yeah.
The bosses.
They would be on the same page.
I don't
but
know if they
everyone
were
else
married.
is just like hired guns, basically.
They were together, and then it's Ocelot's dad is the Sorrow.
Well, you can't just stumble across it like that, Dan. Come on, these two don't know that yet.
It's in the game.
Did you guys encounter that codec call?
No.
See,
Well,
Dan,
so
you
I
gotta tease him with this.
But that's not a spoiler. It's in
I'm
the game
not
we're
yelling
talking
at you
about.
being a spoiler. I'm yelling at your lack of grace at the huge revelation about
I
the
knew
Ocelot's
she-
parents.
She gave birth when she was super pregnant when she stormed the beaches of Normandy and gave birth to Revolver Ocelot during D-Day.
Ocelot's the baby.
Yeah.
Ocelot is the baby. Yeah.
Yes, and that's why
It's a
Sorrow's
boy.
face. You look at Sorrow's face, and it's very.
It does, especially with the Delta version. They
Oh.
really tried
Yes.
to sync that up.
And you
a
get
little
that
bit
via
more.
codec calls?
So Ava in a codec call
They should have told
explains
me
it.
that. That feels like an interesting plot point I would have liked to know.
When is this codec call happening?
I forget. It's at some point. Is it during a boss? It's with Ava, but she explains just like because Snake's like, "What is the deal with Ocelot?" And Ava's like, "Oh, you mean how he's infatuated with you?" He's like, "No, not that. The other thing." So getting to your point about them being in love, Haley.
They're in love.
But then it goes on, and he's like, "Oh yeah, like he got special treatment because his mom was or his parents were legendary soldiers." And so he's recruited and kind of kept under the wing of Volgan from very young, but he was born in the field of battle, and his mom has a scar in the shape of a snake. But they really don't make it clear until you see like the scar from the boss later on. And like I saw there was a YouTube comment where it's like, how come we had to watch 17 minutes of him spinning guns and we couldn't skip it? And then this incredibly important codec call was so easily missed.
That makes me like the plot more.
I know, it's
That's
cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan, I can't believe you just blurted it out. I wanted to try and tease him and talk to him about it.
The thing the game says.
They didn't miss it. They didn't experience it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that's why it is cool because like the implication then is the boss doesn't know it either. I don't believe.
They say they.
I was wondering
She
about
goes,
that.
they took my boy from me. Right.
Right.
away," or whatever.
Right. But although you think the Sorrow would know with his mystical
His ghosts,
abilities, right?
You think
I
you could
think
just
once-
stand around dead and watch what's going on in the world and no one would care?
Why does Eva know?
She does say that the boss
great
like
question.
opened up to her at some point, but that would indicate that the boss knew.
Well, she just knows.
Or
She
maybe-
doesn't know that it's the boss. She just knows that about the legendary parents because of being so close to Volgan. And Volgan talked to her about
And
Ocelot.
we have
how-
both puzzle pieces to make the connection.
That's exactly.
But then, and maybe this is getting too in the weeds.
No.
Volgan took the baby. Why does Volgan know that the parents were legendary?
Because in the 60s, bi men
warriors.
couldn't adopt,
That's-
Charles.
yeah.
They had to steal babies from the battlefield.
That's right.
and so just to be clear, Volgan is, you're saying, Ocelot's father figure?
Yeah.
He looks
kind
like
of.
it
Also-
too.
Just while we're talking about Volgan, that was one of the funniest things by the end of the game. I was like, wait a minute. So who in Volgan's crew was actually a part of Volgan's crew
Everyone
by the
hated
end?
Oh,
him.
yeah.
That's a
Like,
great question.
there's that whole torture scene where it's like the Snake's in there, the boss is in there, Ocelot's in there, Eva's in there, and like no one's using their real names, and Volgan's the only one that's like actually doing the right thing.
I guess Rykov's probably in on
Yeah,
works for
yeah.
Volgan proper.
They're close. Yeah.
Okay. Word past tense.
It did make me
There's-
laugh in like the last discussion. It was very funny because we're talking about, I mentioned like, yeah, Adam's still out there. He's supposed to meet Adam and Ava. And then you guys were like, well, there's only one guy left, so we know that Ocelot is Adam. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. Like, there's no one left.
I
Who
never
could
connected
possibly
those
be
dots.
this
When
fun?
I heard those post-credit things for the first time, I was like, oh, he was Adam though? Oh.
That's the only thing I predicted decently well.
Yeah,
was
you did a
that.
good job.
Well, which is even fair because there, besides grunts, there was no men left. So like, it must be.
I thought it
him.
was the boss. I thought I don't know. I thought it was a fun gender bent thing. I don't know. Oh, so wait, so who was Eva? Like I know
great
who the
question.
character that we know Eva is, but who is the actual?
We don't
Eva
know.
that
It was
she
actually a
played?
man who left in 1960 or whatever
that's
to
right.
defect to the Soviet Union, but we still don't know who the real Eva is. And like, were they killed? That would be a fun thing if they ever do decide to pick it up. Like, Eva is in the next Metal Gear Rising 2 or something, you know? Like, it is kind of this weird thread of like, it does seem like a huge mystery of.
I feel like they would have been in like Metal Gear, like Portable Ops 2 or something, because there were a couple like canon, like remember like Null, or was that supposed to be Gray Fox before he was Gray Fox? Like they did some weird canon stuff for super fans in Portable Ops and Acid.
Yeah. So it gets wonky and complicated. But I do love that entire final moment, just starting to feel Ocelot and it's just like, I don't know whose side he's on. He's pointing the gun at Volgan as well as you, and then he's also helping you during the fight, and he's like referring to Volgan not as what commander or major of the hell as general. He just calls him Volgan, and Volgan's like, Volgan, you're calling me Volgan. Like there's so many little good moments where by the end of the game, it's like Ocelot is just completely in his own realm in a really fun way to see him, especially in the sequence kind of
He
spill
like
out.
never leaves basically for like
And-
the rest of the franchise.
Yeah, it's perfect.
just to keep me trying to put all the pieces together, because it was like revealed what his deal was, and I'm like, okay, what was? So did he not know? Because he's still trying to fight you and chase you,
Yeah.
but he was supposed to be on your side. But because he was a CIA.
Yeah, because the post, okay, because that's the thing with Ocelot throughout the entire series is like, you think you got him pinned down. It's like, oh, he's a double agent. Oh, crap. No, he's a triple agent. So like the post credits in this is like 2 Ocelot phone calls, right?
Yes.
And it's like him talking to like America and him talking to Russia and like
Oh, yeah,
playing
yeah.
both of them, I think.
Yeah, but I think he is with America at this point because he's talking about like, oh yeah, they still think I'm with the KGB, but he's still. It's about that flow of communication. Yeah, I forget exactly.
It
He
is
says-
safe to assume at all points in the series that Ocelot is like working somebody, you know, like he's always like doing his own thing, just kind of playing different sides against each other.
Right, but yeah, he says the Soviets still don't have any idea I was betraying them, that I'm a triple agent, and that's when he's talking to the CIA director.
Right.
Right. So it gets, believe it or not, complicated for the allegiance of Ocelot. It's a thing that keeps on going. And also I forgot about that weird web too, that idea of like, okay, the Philosopher's Legacy, hey, Ava got it for the Chinese. That's cool. But then in that phone call, he reveals, actually, no, she doesn't know that one was a fake. The Chinese don't have it. The US has it, but actually only half the money is back in the US. The other half we assume is with the KGB, but we don't really know where the other half of the Philosopher's Legacy is.
Well, and then it's pretty implied as to what that money went towards, right? Like, what do you say, Ben? Like, I'm trying to dance around it a little bit, but the U.S. having a ton of money back when they were establishing something?
Go on, Dan.
The Patriots?
Sure, but the Patriots are already existing at this point.
They named them, they say, like, who are the Patriots and La La Lule Lo, and like those dudes.
So the American philosophers become the Patriots is the idea
Yes.
that they
That's
established. I think
what the credits said.
Right,
the
Haley?
credits said, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
thanks.
Sorry, Haley, we're throwing you too. You're being drug out
I'm
far
lost
too
too,
into
to
the
be
deep
clear.
water.
My vision was so effed up at this point. I was just like,
Haley, just so there's like a suit, I guess, like, and I'm gonna explain it and I'm gonna be wrong, but just so you understand what I'm at, there's a super secret, I guess, super powerful elite cult of people, I guess, in the later games called the Patriots, but at this
more
point
than
they're
the
called
Cobras?
but at this point they're called those are small potatoes.
They
Haley.
fund the Cobras. They like
They
build
just
up
have
the Cobras.
superpowers. These guys
Okay.
have money.
Yeah,
Anyways,
he's like a shadow. They're
I was like the whole game-
the desk in Neon Genesis Evangelion of monitors. You know those. You guys
yeah, they're like Illuminati. The whole time I was like, if these guys were around, I feel like I should have known about them in Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2, like if they're such a big deal.
Oh,
and then
funny.
it's like, oh, they actually have a different name in those and it's the Patriots, but that's why, I don't know, this game keeps having things, it's like, you think you know what it is, but it's not. It's like, actually, we just changed the name. You did know what it was.
Well, that is confusing for you.
Well, there's a pretty like defining difference when it comes to the Patriots, which like Charles, I don't know if you remember the like post credits of 2, which kind of is like the big reveal of like, oh, okay. Well, then I don't know, Ben, if you want to say it.
We don't need to. That's fine.
Okay.
It's not added nothing.
I can take my headphones off for a second.
No, I think it's all right. We don't want to get more
I just want to know what
derailed
Haley
in the
thought
ending
of
of
3.
2.
That's
I know. There's so much. But I do want to just on this game specifically. I think it's so interesting that like, okay, the philosophers, all the countries together, they're pooling the resources here, the big 3, and they're funding the Cobra unit. Then they're also funding like where Ava was brought up, where they're just training sleeper cell agents.
The charm schools?
Yeah, that's the part that I don't understand is like, and then they just divvy them out for who gets them, or they're just working on behalf of the philosophers, but then just the Chinese were more tempting for her to side with. Like that whole realm, like there's even that part where, you know, Volgan's like, yeah, you know, because of the whole philosophers, school connections, I was able to reach out to the boss and we had a secret communication. That's how I lured her to join to the Soviet Union and stuff. It's like, I just understand like the connections and like organization for the philosophers and how they're pooling who gets what when.
They're like
Ben, I think
Hogwarts.
it's so weird.
Yeah.
If you were to dive this deep, though, into like specifics of Metal Gear, like, oh, who funded these charm schools and why? Like, I'm sure there's a million things that don't make any sense as long as just like the broader strokes of this. Like, I think that's what he really cares about because there's a lot going on there and not all of it's going to line up.
Right. But here we go. Let's jump into this whole thing. Sean Mills writes in, this is pretty wild to me that no one on Volgan's team thinks to check the fuel tanks for the C3 during your fight with them. I do like that Ava calls Volgan a blockhead during this section, though. Mm-hmm. Yeah, good for her. She really did it.
Good insult. We got to bring that back.
Yeah. That entire boss fight, Haley, what was your experience going up against Volgan in the pit?
My dad showed up partway through that, and he showed up in the stream, and I said, "What's your favorite game?" And he said, "Raiders of the Lost Ark in the '80s." I said, "Look what games do now. Would you play this?" He went, "No."
Bring him on the podcast.
Yeah, he sounds like a hoot.
Right? But overall, I like this fight. It's like pretty straightforward, right? Dodge. I quickly learned to put my gun away if a little blue thing was coming at you. You know, it's like the same of what I've felt before, but just new mechanics, which I liked. Like, it's not impossible. Puzzly. It's just like more of a puzzly thing. I like when this game did more puzzly fights than just like, the Fury, F you, hits you with a freaking fireball in the head. You can't dodge it, and then everything's on fire and you die. Like, that's not a puzzle. That's just awful. But this was at least kind of fun.
Do you know about the mushrooms?
No.
So if you take I think it's the glowing mushrooms, you've ever seen those like in the caves and stuff?
Yeah.
If you throw those on the ground during the boss fight, it'll like absorb his lightning attacks. So it gives you an
that's
advantage.
cool.
I know that.
That's really good.
See, I threw my freaking those stun grenades that are supposedly stop electricity. Those things did all this entire effing game. I was like, perfect, I have 50 of these. Like, let's go. And I threw one, it did absolutely nothing. What are those for? They didn't work against electric fences. They don't work against Volgan.
Was it shaft
Radios.
grenades?
Yeah, they mentioned
Yes.
radios.
Yeah.
Boy, I use shaft grenades
I'll just
all the
shoot 'em.
time in one because there's like security cameras and stuff everywhere. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever thrown a shaft
Yeah,
grenade.
we talked about it in the last one. It breaks up so they can't communicate, so they can't call to call in reinforcements and
I like
stuff
There's
shooting
like
the
that.
a thing
walkie-talkies
called
for
a
that.
gun I can just
Yeah.
do and shoot the person on the phone in the head.
Well, if you want to be
I
boring
want something
about
that
it.
affects all the tech and stuff, because that would feel more like a system that I'm meddling with. But no, doesn't do anything.
Tom Blackburn wrote in and he says, "Hey, have you all disrupted your enemy's supply lines lately? Do you know that you can blow up an armory with TNT and all the soldiers will have reduced ammo and need to switch to their sidearm? And you can blow up a food supply shack
cool.
and they'll be hungry and more susceptible to stamina attacks and being distracted by food that you throw." They're starving.
You'll hear them like their stomachs rumbling, like, "Oh, so hungry." Great, I love that.
And then,
What? That's awesome.
lastly, you can blow up buildings with the comms equipment to disable enemy radios so they can't call for backup.
That's
If you
very
just
cool.
blow enough
I
stuff
also
up.
the Volgan like lead up is also where the Sorrow has the clock for you.
Yes,
Yeah,
give you
yeah.
like,
Which
hey,
I love
timer,
that. That's-
timer.
Yeah, like
But he
especially
also
if
does
you
the
missed
thing
him
with the-
earlier. Like that's
he has
he's
the-
like yeah.
the clock during the boss fight, and then he's got the codec for the jail cell.
So funny.
But you can miss the codec one pretty easily because it's an R.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess they're both R.
I think it might be a hidden R1 thing because I remember like during that scene I was just holding an R1 waiting for it. Ben, you're shaking your head.
It's
Was
not
that
hidden.
wrong?
It's not hidden for the codec. It's just really fast.
It's pretty
Oh,
quick.
okay,
Yeah.
interesting. Okay,
Dan L says, "I used the trick in the first Volgan fight where you put the Rykov mask on to trick him, and you can get a free hit before. But then I forgot to take it off for the cutscene and immediately regretted it when Ava started confiding to an emotionless Rykov mask.
That's funny.
I interrogated someone several hours earlier in the game that told me that Volgin was weak to water. And I was like, oh, like I'm going to fight him any second now. But it's interesting. He's weak to water. What does that mean? And there are pipes here that you can shoot that like shoot water out. And I could not tell you what they did. I don't feel like they ever, maybe they slightly stunned him, but I spent a lot of the fights trying to get him to run through the water and I never noticed it doing it. Maybe he takes more damage. I don't know.
Is there any chance it was like before? Were they specifically saying Volgin? Because like you can shoot the pipes in the Fury fight and like put out the fires and stuff like that.
It was when I was going to get Rykov. So it was one of the scientists in that area. I'm pretty sure they said Volgin because I feel like the Fury showing up, like no one had mentioned anything about the Fury, but
sure.
I also don't know why else there would be water pipes.
If the Fury was around me, he's the only guy I'd be talking about.
That's fair. He's kind of hard to
interesting
miss.
dude, yeah.
Psyduck Mantis says, I love how Volgin really does go full Bond villain at the end, outright saying something like, I'll explain it to him before I kill him, and then proceeding to monologue to Snake about all the philosopher's legacy for 10 minutes.
I actually quoted that exact line in my review as like a point of like this game is absurd and you kind of got to appreciate it for that or not. You know what I mean? You either love that or you hate it.
Yeah.
But I happen to love it. And that exact line where he's like, well, let me tell you. And then it cuts to the crappy JPEGs.
Yeah. But also it's like, it is just this game over explaining some things because when Snake is like, who are the philosophers? What's the philosopher's legacy? I'm like, I feel like I've been explained in this run already like 2 times, people making it very clear what the philosopher's legacy is. And Snake is still like, please regale me with this tale from square one, big boy.
This game makes me feel stupid in that not that I'm confused, but that I'm also confused, but also feel like everything was over-explained at the same time, which is a hard thing to
That's Metal Gear.
Yeah.
That's kind of the magic of it. So yeah, this is also, I love during that fight how Ocelot is like yelling at you, like, come on, get up! Like he's really encouraging you throughout the entire thing, which is kind of fun.
I kind of thought he was like his sexiest here, to be honest. Like,
big boy in the red?
Helpful and competent? Ocelot, that's so unlike you.
Well, before it's always just like, I'm gonna flip my guns. And I'm like, yeah. He just was giving dweeb, but then here it was like he had a little bit of a hint of I don't actually know what he's doing, and that made me like him more. I was like, wait a second. Wow.
Wait, so the twirling the guns wasn't a sexy, cool thing?
No, it was look at me, mom. I didn't get enough hugs as a kid.
Oh, so you're saying in college when I bought a fake revolver and tried to teach myself how to do spinny tricks, that's why I never got laid.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
all right.
Would you go to the party with your gun?
No, I practiced it in my dorm room and never got good at it. Yeah, but the energy was there.
Of you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
I'm imagining you just like, how Ocelot kills wasps. I imagine you just spinning, trying to deflect women, trying to kiss you, trying to keep them away from your face at all times.
That is a Volgin line. He says, I've had enough kisses from you. And
oh my God, I died at that.
That
was the least scary thing he could say. That made me laugh so hard.
He had talked about it in such a menacing way, and it's like, I don't know, when you have like power over a woman like that, I'm like, I don't know what he's clearly taking advantage of her in some way. She's in such a role. I'm like, I hope he's doing such horrible things. And then he says, I've had enough kisses from you. I'm just imagining him in like an office, like, kiss me on the cheek again, or I'll zap you. I'm like, oh, that's the extent of it. Huh?
It moves the action to like him receiving something.
Yeah.
Which that sounds weird in my ear because I would presume he's the weirdo forcing kisses on everyone, but he's actually getting them.
Well, it's because she had the poison.
He people by grabbing their balls.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
But who doesn't do that?
That relationship between those two, it's dark as you want to take it, but like just Ava and Volgin, and specifically, him being like, oh, Sokolov isn't enough man to handle her because she's so obedient and all this stuff. I was like, okay, I'm still trying to get a sense of what their love like was like. But then later on, I do like that moment when she's in the motorcycle and she's like, leave him to me. Like, I know what did she say? She has a line where she's like, I know how to lure this guy. Like, I know him pretty well at this point. It's like, oh, that's right. Like, they've been effing this entire time. And I understand it's a complicated relationship in 1,000 different ways, but I do just like that hint where she's like, I know this guy so well. Trust me, I know how to bring him this way in a motorcycle. It's interesting.
I do like to imagine, though, that what she means is she just kisses him on both cheeks and then he's like,
Oh, fresh. It is. So it's like, okay, she used the lipstick there, like with that kissing scene. So it's like, okay, it seemed like it was threatening, and then it was back to being just lipstick, and then it's back to, in this scene, it seems like it could be killer lipstick if it needs to be.
She slaps it on and tries to kiss his cheek. He's like, no, I said no more.
Please don't. And then, of course, everything goes to hell. I beat this boss.
Is this where Ocelot is like all about smelling the gasoline?
He smells the gasoline. They explain the whole thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And the boss comes
So Haley,
through.
you were wondering why he was obsessed with smelling the whole game. Was this a cathartic moment for you to be like, oh, it was all leading to this?
Wait, I'm sorry. Wait, what? I don't think I ever noticed the gasoline thing.
He says like the reason I figured out that it was her is because it wasn't because like the perfume, it was the gasoline.
Oh, okay,
that he smelled from the bike.
Right. Okay. Yep, that's right.
And the knocker grabbing.
And that whole
That
thing.
too.
Yeah. There's no doubt about that.
That's how he identified her gender.
That was like a second source, you know.
Yes,
one source.
source.
You got to bring your driver's license and a
so many
passport.
times.
Yeah.
Let me just make sure.
I beat this boss with 4 seconds left. And then they really take their sweet time. And it was like, just run! Someone move, please! It was like, let's casually make our way out of here. Like, the timer makes no sense if you're really getting down to the
Doing
wire
little
here.
donut spins around in the parking lot. I'm like, drive away! Why are we showing off?
I forgot, there's a really sweet moment where the guards are like helping each other out of the building when it's on fire and they're all burning as well. And you get to hear one of the guards talk to the other guards and he's like, don't give up, don't give up. It's like this weird little bit of humanizing for these people that you've killed, other than the Sorrow boss fight. You know, it's like a second little wave of like, oh, these are people. These are people that you've been brutally murdering the entire time.
Feel bad.
Yes, feel bad, please.
This whole sequence, the whole Shagohod chase thing, this was like one of my favorite things ever in a game when I played
Oh my
it. Like,
God.
I made a save right before it and played through that so many times, and the music and everything was just so incredible. And then I remember probably like 09 or 2010, I wrote a thing in Game Informer about like, I can't remember if it's like, 10 of the most action-packed, best, whatever bullshit things, whatever the article was about.
Where I was praising it. I'm surprised that made it through.
Subscribe now.
I don't know if it's still on the site. Yeah, it was basically saying, hey, this scene kicked ass.
Yeah.
And then so many people, including people at Game Informer, I remember being like, what? That's the worst part of the series. That part's terrible. Like, it's just a turret sequence. I'm like,
yeah,
just a turret sequence. There's like dudes on hover things and you're shooting infinite rockets at dudes on a motorcycle. Like, I love that scene.
It's interesting, Dan. I remember being frustrated by it back in the day. And just a lot of Snake going like, as you're firing all that.
Camera shifting to me. Like,
But
I was
if you
like,
hold in that R1, and it's just, you're always just, straight down the barrel.
But Dan, this is my biggest epiphany playing through this game again, because I hadn't played it for 20 years. And like, this sequence blew my damn mind. I remember it being fine back in the day, but it's like, it's not really what I want from Metal Gear, But like, how ambitious this entire sequence was. I had to go back and watch it on PS2. Like, were they really doing this on PS2?
Yes.
The Shagohod like crashing through all that stuff as it's navigating, and it is. The term broken is maybe a bit too much, but it is janky and wonky because of the camera transitions, but I love it just as a time and place in 2004 for game design of like, we're going to have fixed camera angles and we're going to just rapidly cut during this chase. And so if you're switching to like first person to fire and then jumping back out and it's switching cameras on top of that, it is jarring and weird, but it's just like, it feels like Resident Evil, like fixed camera perspectives if you're just being thrown through the hallway and it's throwing it as fast as possible. It is just like this beautiful moment in time of game design and camera sensibilities not quite being where it should be, but it just creates this weird inflection point that is only unique to this. It really blew my mind.
But it also just looks incredible. Like all the actual action that's happening. Like if it wasn't doing the switching to the first person stuff, it would just be an incredible action sequence in a movie, especially with the music and everything going on. Like it is a tremendous sequence.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. Yeah, Shirley Benez Nuts, of course, says, I first played the original Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater release a few years ago. The motorbike chase scene immediately stood out as the best on-rail sequence I've ever played in a game. Maybe the most fun set piece I've ever played. Huge part of that is down to the well-choreographed fixed camera paired with an intense orchestral soundtrack. There's the added bonus of the M63 machine gun. Yeah, so Snake is constantly yelling "Hurrah!" throughout the entire thing. The PS2 version was better about letting you hip fire without breaking the camera, though.
Well, the thing I would always do in this sequence, or like, 'cause I don't feel like they ever talk about this enough, but like just the reloading quickly by just like equip, unequip really quick. So like with the, if you don't do that, you have to watch the whole rocket reload animation instead of just like you shoot it, you just like tap. I guess on this one it's right to do your items.
Yeah.
You just tap right twice and it's reloaded again. So it's like boom, rocket, boom, rocket, boom, rocket. Like you can do that the entire game with every gun. You should never see a gun reload in this game. And I feel like they never really surfaced that. I mean, it's been there since the first Metal Gear Solid, and so I just assumed that was just like everyone did that all the time. But I guess they don't talk about it enough.
Yeah. Also, it is the coolest thing on Earth when Ocelot goes around a corner and the spurs are making the sparks.
Yes.
Also, does everybody else have this specific fascination too? Please tell me I'm not alone. But when Snake's in the sidecar and they're going around a tight corner and Snake has to lean out really far to like counterbalance.
The balancing. Yeah.
Why is that the coolest damn thing?
Really cool. It's
What
really
is it?
cool.
Does anybody else feel that like anytime you're like balancing in a big way on a bike by leaning far over, it is like
This is dangerous.
It's cat
but it's like
moving.
required.
Well, Ben, you've been tubing a lot. So, in tubing, when you're getting whipped around, you got to lean one way.
I guess
so.
that's pretty important. But even like, I make this reference too many times, but even like in the opening of Last Jedi, when Poe Dameron is flying the X-Wing and he makes a really tight turn and he's like, boosh, and slams his hand on the window as he's making the turn. Like just something about that, like fighting G-forces gracefully. Nothing better on Earth. I love it so much.
You have to do that in horseback riding a lot, Ben.
Not
Like, if
interested.
The horse is, oh, okay. You know what? F you.
Will the horse
will
mourn
say-
me if I die?
Yeah, he'll scream to God. Why, God? Why did you?
I mean, Haley, have you
for
ever
me?
have you ever been there when a horse watched its owner die?
Can't ask a woman
No.
that.
That's
Right?
a
Okay.
good question. That's a
Actually,
good
no.
question.
Red Dead Redemption 2. That happens all the time, and the horses
Yeah,
never
yeah.
wail the
They
sky.
never will. They never will for me.
Ben, I was gonna say I'm glad you brought up Star Wars because I was about to bring it up, and I was
Please.
like, this will feel weird now to place. Went to Disney World a few weeks ago, did Rise of the Resistance for the first time,
Yeah.
and then saw this
ride.
motorcycle sequence, and I'm like, oh, this like would be a great like roller coaster ride.
At Metal Gear
They have
World.
the seats, they like rotate. It just felt like the way that it would just be sliding around, you'd be spinning.
Yeah.
That's if I pitched I'm gonna pitch that to Mr. Disney.
Okay.
If they made a Metal Gear Solid world, I would suddenly understand Disney adults.
I mean, Konami, they have like workout places. They have like fitness centers, right? They could make an
I don't think a
amusement park.
gym is Disney World.
Oh, man,
have you
you
been
do a
to
lot of
Disney
walking at
World?
Disney World. It's kind of the same thing.
The women who founded curves suddenly opens like a crazy.
We're gonna
roller
make
coaster
we're gonna
where
make
you
him
lose
into a
weight.
military video game.
Hey, before this entire chase sequence, can you all help me to understand this? It's such a weird beat where Ava is talking to Snake and she's talking about the boss. And she's like, hey, Snake, the boss, she asked me to tell you something. I've never seen someone with such clear eyes. There, I said it. She has to like
what
double.
the hell was that?
She's like, this is the ultimate message from the boss, just in case Snake doesn't make it through it. It's like, I've never seen somebody with such clear eyes. That's
And she's
Boss
like, I
was
said
talking
it.
about Snake.
Phew.
yeah. Yeah, it's like, oh, what a tough message to get across. But it's like, I was confused. I'm like, was that the message?
Is it like
And
a
then
bit because he's only got one eye now?
unclear if the boss is doing a killer bit
Like an
about
insult?
the eyes.
Is that something that the boss has said to him in his past that means something?
Not that we know of. It's
I mean,
really
maybe
odd.
she's talking about like him being clear on just like the mission, like he's not wavering in his duty as a soldier.
Right.
He's been
I
pretty
thought
wavery
she
up
was
to
saying-
this point.
He does nothing but waver.
He's been leaning off his side
Wavering
like
around.
crazy.
Yeah.
Eva was saying that the boss had such clear eyes.
No.
So she's okay.
I
well,
thought that's what she meant as well.
I thought she was saying the boss told me I had something. The boss told me to tell you something. I've never seen someone with such clear eyes. As all thing referring to the boss, and then that would later be alluding to like the voice message she. left
Oh.
at the
I
very
hear
end
that,
of
but
it.
the
the
fact that she
truth of
says,
it.
there, I said it, is what Ava
Yeah, I
says
don't-
after that. So
that's the part that throws it off for me. But yeah, I don't know.
but I like that because it is
she's
weird
just
how
an
it's like
idiot.
it is the mission is the reason that it's against the mission for the boss to explain to Naked Snake all these details. But it's like, what an easy loophole. She's like, I just told Ava, and then Ava told you. It's like, this gets around your patriotism? Like just to play a little game of telephone? But, states their own. Hey, I have a really important question for you. And if it's too personal, I understand. But is the Shagohod cool enough looking?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No, I was a little underwhelmed by it at the time, but I was just because the Metal Gears are just so damn cool.
Yeah.
you know,
They're
that
so
it's like,
cool.
but they can't.
But the thing is, okay, the thing with the Metal Gears is I wanted the Shagohod to be called a Metal Gear because I just like that phrase.
Yeah.
But the practicality of Rex and Ray is just like, why? They don't need legs. Why are they walking around?
Grannon
with legs?
explains they need legs, and it does make me laugh because
And
like the
those are
whole
all
pitch.
legs, like,
But it's so funny in this
try.
entire sequence because it's just like, no, we decided to go with the Shagohod because it turns out we don't need legs for this, and is the huge tension within Russia. And then it's so funny that this entire section is just like Shagohod crawling around with its arms. Like,
Yeah.
clearly it's using half its
I do like
legs.
that.
But to launch the nukes, it also had to like have that giant runway, right? 'Cause
Right.
It had to like go really fast for the momentum for the nuke. Like none of this seems efficient.
No, I do like the drill arms.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Like
That was
that's like
cool. That
a
was
unique
cool.
thing that's like I've never seen before or since. That's like that. You know, like we're saying, it's not really like a practical way to have a locomotion for a vehicle, but like it looks cool as hell. It did feel like it felt like a Metal Gear without legs, and for that reason, I was a little like underwhelmed by it in terms of design and like being like intimidated by it. But I mean, I do like it.
Do you like it more or less than the Metal Gear Rising Metal Gear? Was it Metal Gear Excelsis? That was like the big ant. Remember him?
Right.
What are the ones in 4? The two-legged the
Four's Rex
lizard?
and Ray again.
Well, the geckos.
They go
No,
back
no,
to the
but
well.
there's the geckos.
There's the
Oh, the
two-legged
little ones, the
ones.
geckos.
Yeah.
The geckos.
The
Yeah.
geckos I like a lot. The geckos might be my favorite just because they're so sort of like
Nasty.
nimble.
Well, they
They're just
moo and they
nimble,
bleed,
you know?
so I do like them because they're weird little dudes. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank God you have infinite ammo during this entire sequence, by the way.
Yes.
That was very
Yes.
gracious.
Isn't that
That was
nice?
very. I've said thank you. That's nice.
I did wish that I had, and I don't know how I would have specifically guessed this. I thought there would be like you put the bombs on the fuel tanks, and then maybe there would be a beat before stuff happens. But I should have been gathering a lot more food a lot sooner because it's like Volgin into the chase, into
Yeah.
the fight, and then like eventually you get to the woods again. But that's if
Yeah.
I played this game again, I would just be like, I just got to be getting more snakes and putting them.
It is nice. They
in
give
my
you
back
like,
pocket.
it's really peaceful after the Sorrow boss fight. It's some of my favorite little areas in the game where it's just kind of like chill wandering through the forest before you kind of come to this area again. And it's my favorite aspect of kind of this part of the game is just, I'm totally with you, where around this time, I was longing for the forest. You know, it's like, I just kind of want to refill my inventory, and I can only do that in the woods. I got to get back there. And it's so refreshing that when you get to go back, it's like, okay, I'm in my element. This is the like territory I know. It's feeling good.
One element that I totally forgot about on that front was when I was watching my sister play, she had taken like a week or more break from playing it, and she went back on stream, and she was like hunting everything and keeping everything.
Oh, no.
And then she went to go refill her stamina, and it was all like covered in flies and stuff. It's like, oh right, they did the in-game clock for that too.
Yep. You can't win.
I will say we didn't touch on this part of the Shagohod sequence, is that I had no idea that was going to happen. That was a crazy plot twist. He gets inside the Shagohod. I thought he was dead. Like we talked about all the coolness of it, but Volgin just
Actually
there. That,
piloting
like
it?
that. I was so ready for it. I was like, oh, it blew up and we did it. And I like truly, I thought that was the end of the game. And then there was so much action out of nowhere. I was like, oh, this is so much more climactic than I expected. But I don't know, Haley, if that also were caught off guard. But
Yeah,
I
I thought it exploded when the whole hangar exploded. But then again, it is a tank, which is built to withhold explosions. But
Well, they-
everyone was
they
so
drained all the-
specific that it's like, this will destroy it. It'll work great. And I was
Yeah.
like,
they said
gotcha.
they drained all the fuel out of the tanks. So the C3 blew up, but there wasn't all the fuel, which is why it didn't get blown up.
Right.
Convenient.
Is this now? He goes full Ratatouille, where he like pulls up the hair from
Yes.
the
Ratatouille
Shagohod to like control it while standing
Which,
on top.
to be fair, this came out before Ratatouille.
That's right. Yeah.
True.
But you're Charles. You're saying like when it first appears at all is what you're saying, right? Is where it's
Like
surprising?
it was in the
Yes.
hangar, and then you beat Volgin, and I'm like, oh great, we got out in time for the bombs, and I was like ready to. I have seen the image of the boss fight, so I knew that if I was going to be like a field of white flowers and the boss was going to be there, and I really thought it was going to be like that explodes and then you drive off, fade to black, fade out of black, and now we're in the woods and we're going to fight the boss. We're going to encounter her or something. So I had no idea that like a bunch more stuff was going to happen, and it was like I was just very pleasantly surprised.
Another 4 stages.
It's
one of
many.
my favorite staples of the Metal Gear series is just like bosses dying in the same game like 7 different times.
Oh my
God.
Yeah.
I won't say specific ones, but like I swear they could keep doing it 30 more times and I would love it every time. Like just keep dying and coming back. And I'm a sucker for it every time. It's like, oh, now is the part where we blew up in this. Now it's the part where I fight him hand to hand. Now it's the gunfight.
But even like outside of those resurrections too, there's so many just layers of like, oh, we're safe. We're not safe. And like it becomes to the point of parody in this game when they're like, there's MiGs or like jets flying outside the MiG. Like, oh my God, we're gonna get shot. I was like, how many layers of, oh my gosh, there's another secret threat happening again and again can we get through? But
well, that's the Volgin. Like I love so many, like I'm a huge sucker in any action movie or game of just like, what is the creative way the bad guy dies?
Yeah.
Like I just love seeing bad guys die in funny ways. And yeah, so Volgin's in there when it blows up. Volgin, you snipe the bridge when he's going across it in the Shagohod. Then he's doing the weird horse riding thing with the reins and everything. And then he's just standing there screaming, covered in bullets, and a lightning bolt strikes him, and he's just screaming, and Snake and Eva are like making out while he's like, just like dying in the background.
it's fireworks, yeah.
And then the trailer for 5, and I'm like, that makes it even better. Okay.
Haley, do you remember, slight spoilers for Metal Gear Solid 5. Do you remember that Volgin is in Metal Gear Solid 5? That he technically survives this?
I played that 10 years ago. I didn't remember.
Okay.
He's the guy that's always on fire in Metal Gear Solid 5 because he didn't die in 3 because he was so angry. So he was so pissed off that he's just walking around for like 20 years on fire. It's incredible.
That's so funny.
I love it.
You forgot to say Kuwabara.
See, that's exact. Swan Song has got you, Charles. They wrote in this that you discussed in your first episode, the Kuwabara thing. I appreciate that the one time that Volgin doesn't say it is when a rainstorm is starting, and that's the one time he gets struck by lightning. I like that so much. I don't like it when Snake then goes, the lightning guy was hit by lightning. What a fitting end. It's like, we got it. We don't need.
That was very stupid. Yeah.
Also, Snake is so dumb. Love him dearly, but he's such a buffoon. But when they're
What would
talking
you
about,
have had him say there instead, Ben?
oh, it would have been like, okay, hang on. So
I don't
You want
Yeah,
to do
not
like
so
a
easy, is it?
shocking?
shocking.
No, he's not a one-liner. No, it's this thing. He's not Bond. He's not Schwarzenegger in Commando. Like, I don't think I want one-liners from Snake, you know?
He could try. He could
Let's
try
go.
to be
I don't
funny.
think so. He tried there and it sucked.
Yeah.
I would want him to be like, his whole thing is he asks questions over and over. He'd be like,
Yes.
How is there lightning right now?
Dan,
That's a good one.
there is the moment, I won't say what the context is, but there's the point where a character says
just
Fox,
thought
and he goes, die. Like,
Oh,
and
okay.
that's like,
And
that's pretty.
I just thought of one where he said, that takes care of the cremation. So I guess, he tries sometimes.
yeah, exactly. Come
He's
on.
a little cheeky sometimes.
He can be a cheeky guy, yeah. No, but when they're talking about like how are we going to destroy the Shagohod? And then Ava's like, let's go to the bridge. And he's like, the bridge? Why would we go there and let him chase us there? It's lined with C3. It's like, yeah, we're going to blow it up. And he's like, oh, good plan. It's like, you couldn't figure this out. Like, we can't use that bridge. It's too explosive.
Happening, man. Things are blowing up. The camera keeps changing, you know?
He's kind of just MacGruber. Like everyone
Yes.
else around him is the competent one, and he's the one who takes the credit for it.
It's exactly
You know what I
what
tend to like
He is
is like, it's such a thing. Like, I think, who is it? Reese Witherspoon has like a TED talk where she talks about like how women are represented in movies, and she's like, her number one beef with Hollywood is how every woman always goes, "What do we do now?" And like that's literally Snake in this game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the entire game.
Which I kind of like the flip of it. I like believe it more.
And I was laughing at the MacGruber comparison because there is a trajectory in almost every Metal Gear game where you think you can't really fire your gun up until the end, and then you will hit a certain point where you're like, oh, I guess I can just shoot everybody.
Yeah, let her rip.
Right.
Like, I could just funnel everyone here, just start unloading on them with a machine gun.
This is so much better than those stupid fucking gadgets.
Speaking of which, Connor Z writes in and said, I never beat this game as a kid because I missed the RPG on the mountainside. And as far as I know, there's no way to beat the Shagohod without it. So it's essentially hard locked in this game.
What? No.
Wait,
They don't give
actually,
you one, like right when you get on the motorcycle?
So what it does is for the first round when you're on the bike, you have to use your grenades, which is a pain in the ass. But in the second phase, they automatically give you an RPG.
Okay.
So if you can get past that first round, apparently, Connor, then you'll be set, apparently.
I can't imagine grenades on that part. It's
don't
only
tell
the
Connor's
like.
skill issue.
Sorry, Connor, we
20 years
appreciate
later.
you, but you know.
I thought that
only use
first
the
part
light
was just you
machine
had to
gun?
like wait it out. and just kill grunts. I didn't think you could do any damage to the Shagohod at all.
With grenades,
Am I
you
crazy?
can.
Yeah, but it's like the
I never
life
messed with
meter
them.
doesn't go down.
Oh yeah, no,
right?
I'm with
Like,
you. Yeah, I guess. But yeah, so I guess you just need to. That's a good point. So it's some phase apparently. I don't know which phase it is, but you can do some damage then with the grenades. Maybe it's just the first phase of the actual boss fight, not the chase sequence.
I love
more
in the
sense.
boss fight like that mechanic of like, okay, I can't get around. Like I know he's weak on the back, but like I can't get there. And it's like, oh, okay, blowing up like one of the drills is cool. Like
Yeah, it's
I like
cool.
that a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, and then
just
I
like
had a
going
light bulb
underneath
moment.
them.
Yeah, I had a light bulb moment. I was
Yeah.
like, wait a sec. Just crouch and go underneath. Like, that's
little.
great.
It's so good.
I'm a little guy. I don't have a tank. I can just walk places.
This is a huge moment too for our budding love story here, where it's the first time where it says press R1 to look, and you look and you're looking right in Ava's eyes. For the first time in the game, you hit R1 around Ava and you're not just staring right at her cleavage. And so
Caesar is a person, finally.
it's called
my
character
God.
development.
it is.
you guys.
I think there's hope for men after all. Look, she has eyeballs. She's really
great.
done it.
I really felt empowered to be a lawyer and be a woman when that happened.
But yeah, obviously, I feel like we did not really talk about the music too much throughout this entire game. But like the
the
music
music
during this
slaps.
sequence, it's so good. Like the Metal Gear Saga theme, like just playing throughout it. But even throughout the entire game, it's like it is such a signature soundtrack. You know, like you can't mistake it for any other game. If you just hear that little like all those little sounds during every part of this game in that soundtrack are just so baked in and so singular and iconic, I'd argue.
There was something crazy about the Shagohod showing up, and I don't know, it must be from Smash Bros. I was like, oh, I know this song.
Funny.
Oh, it's gotta be.
Or
I
like,
had the same feeling, Charles.
yeah, it's just a weird. It hadn't even occurred to me that I would recognize music from the game other than like the main song, because obviously they say the name of the song in the thing. But yeah, and then I was like, I was more amped because I was like weirdly nostalgic. I was like, oh, wow, they're playing the song that I know. That's so great. They're playing the hits.
Yeah, there's a lot more of like the Metal Gear Solid theme in this than I remembered. I remembered it's like, okay, 2's peak of like using that main theme, and then they kind of get away from it. We just talked about it on Something Rotten. There's a bonus episode, but I assume you guys haven't seen it. But there's this very fun bit where during an interview in like the early 2000s, I think after 2 comes out, I forget where is relation to 3. Maybe it's
No, if
during
you're talking about I think it's after 3
Is it after
because he
3?
stopped using it after that.
Yeah, so it's not in
interview,
4,
yeah.
the main Metal Gear Solid theme, but it is surprisingly, it's in 3 more than I remembered. But yeah, there's a bit where they're like, hey, Kojima, you know the Metal Gear Solid theme? There's this old Russian song called Winter's Road. Listen to this. And they actually have footage, you can see it on YouTube, of Kojima listening to this old Russian song, which is like 90% the Metal Gear Solid theme. And you can like see him in real time getting more and more uncomfortable. Like, when was this written? What's this song? Like, okay. And ever since then, Metal Gear's like steered away from that amazing theme. But thankfully they have other great music they can kind
Is
of...
it old enough that it's public domain vibes, or was it no?
I don't think it was at the time. I think it was probably from the 60s or something. I forget when.
Oh, then no.
Yeah.
Who's the composer? It's the Hollywood guy, right? The
Harry
rock
Gregson
guy?
Williams.
Harry
But,
Gregson Williams?
but I
Okay.
don't know if he did.
He didn't do 1.
and
right?
I
But
don't
did
think he
2?
composed that theme. Am I nuts? Because I think it was before his time that he started, technically.
Was Gregson Williams not on 1? I thought he was on 1.
No,
think
he
so.
started on 2.
Really?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, but then that main theme was on like the soundtrack to 1, I believe, but it's not in 1. I believe is the confusing thing. Yeah, the song is called Winter Road. If you want to listen to it on your own time for the song that's just so close to the Metal Gear Solid theme, all that fun stuff.
You're right. He's done 2 and 3, then Call of Duty 4, and then the Metal Gears, and yeah, okay. Huh.
Oh, speaking of the love story, I'll never forget this great moment where, oh gosh, there's so much to get to.
Love story is strong.
Love story, it's the strongest ever. But the journey continues. They get on their bike and they go into the forest. I forgot there's this whole sequence that's just like Return of the Jedi of just, in the woods with the little flying things. And then that scene where they hit the log, it really got me. It is like a visceral impact. And Snake like slams his back against the tree and then slides down. And Ava, of course, has like the branch coming through her gut. This is an impossible thing to Google. What other media has like a character with a branch through their gut like that? I feel like I've seen that several
Specifically a
times.
branch?
The branch.
I was thinking this.
Yes. What is it, Haley? There's some other iconic
Yes.
character that gets.
Is it one of the
impaled-
Jurassic movies?
Ooh, interesting.
There's a Seagal movie, I think, right? Where
That's
the villain
it.
Famously,
No, I don't think so.
What is it?
No, so Tomb Raider 2013. People are saying,
there's The Last of Us with the rebar.
Yep, Last of Us.
Was
Yep.
there in Blair Witch? Does that happen?
I don't think so.
The Blair Witch Project?
Yeah, it didn't like.
It's like a famously like not very violent movie, right?
But there
It's
were a
all
couple of
implied.
scenes. There's the teeth and the tongue, but I thought at one
The
point
Evil
like a
Dead.
night or something.
The Evil Dead.
Evil Dead.
Evil Dead's
It could be. Yeah.
type. Well, that's a
different
villain.
type of tree.
Yeah.
Logan, people are saying Serenity. Okay, maybe there's enough kind of oddball examples, not like the one iconic one.
Logan,
in
I
my
think,
mind.
is what I would have thought of.
Okay, all right, there we go. That's probably it. Now that I think about it even more.
that's
yeah.
gonna
Time where I
bump it
stabbed you with a tree branch, Ben?
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. But anyways, Snake, he says, I can't believe this. I never thought I'd see you act so weak. Ava, I need you. And then she goes, say it one more time, Snake. He goes, I need you. I can't fly the wig by myself.
I know.
Very good.
I love that. It's, and her reaction is so funny too. Her just like, huh, of course, yes, I
Yeah,
should have seen this
friggin'
coming.
Figures, yeah.
I liked that.
I have a tiny nitpick, barely even nitpick, but throughout all this action sequence stuff, I'm amazed that they just keep putting the name of the location up on the screen. Whenever they cut back to gameplay, it's always like, by the way, you're in East Groznygrad Road. Like, I don't care what the name of this road is or this area of the map that I'm never going to come back to, but like through all of this section, it's just name of the area, name of the area.
I mean, they've done it for every other part of the game. Why stop now? You know?
I guess so.
I
guess
actually
so.
kind of like that stuff though, where like UI elements show up in cutscenes and stuff. Like Metal Gear's usually pretty good about that. Or like, I can't think of any specific examples, but like if a gun gets fired in a cutscene, like you can see the bullet go down, or like people losing hearts, like in a cutscene where they get injured. It's underused, but I always like it actually. So I don't really mind it here.
I can think of something in one where like something happens. I don't know if it's when they take all your clothes and everything, and you see the health bar like tweet, like go down a little bit.
Yeah. No, I like that too. I don't know if that quite fits, Kyle, but I like you squeezing those two things together. I forgot. Again, it's been 20 years. I completely forgot about the navigating the jungle with Ava stuff and like having to heal her.
Oh, that was really
the pacing.
bad.
It hurts the pacing a lot.
You can
She
tell.
gets so hungry. She's so hungry all the time.
Yes, it is frustrating how much she eats. I'm like, I'm hunting birds for like the first time in this game just so I can feed her so she stops complaining. But this feels like something that is probably originally a much bigger thing, and then just like scaling it down to like, it's just kind of like two little areas. It's not that big at all.
You could have cut this whole thing out, I think, and the game would have been better.
100%.
Cut it all out.
This is really what it's like to have a girlfriend, though. Like, I'm so hungry. It's like, God, I guess I'll get you food. Like,
My wife will have a salad.
Again. Like, oh my gosh, kill the snake yourself. You know what I mean?
You're impaled by a branch again. This is gonna take forever to get home.
I did the whole section, and then the cutscenes were playing, and I had like a thing I had to go do, so I paused and I put my PS5 in sleep mode, and then it updated. So I had to go back to my autosave, so I played through this Eva escort section twice in a row.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Which was, you know, it was
I do
fun.
remember. I remember being pretty interminable on PS2, but this time I don't know. I just found it a lot more manageable. Maybe because I knew what I was getting into this time. Maybe, but like, I remember playing it in like 2004. I was just like, I hit a point. I think I was like, am I not going to finish this game? Like that's like where I was at.
Wow.
It's so funny that you can hide from her. That she loses track of you. Like you get far enough away and you're just crawling around. She's like, Snake, where did you go? And you have to like walk into her line of sight. And she's like, oh, like she has the exclamation point above her head.
Right.
When she finds you again. And it's like, why? What?
Because he's just so sneaky.
I do like that. I feel like between this and the fight against the boss, I was like, man, I feel like I'd be able to track Snake way easier than these people are. But maybe that's just the internal logic.
Yeah, it turns out not that hard after all. I mean, for as much as we've talked about this game, Dan, be quiet for a second. We have not really like talked about the core mechanics that you're doing a ton of this game of like going in the menu and healing. Like
that's the thing I hate the most. Like hate's a strong word, but like when they were remaking it and I was wondering like, oh, how faithful is it going to be, or will they change some of the stuff? Like the one thing I was kind of hoping was that they would maybe get rid of the survival viewer thing. But I think I probably had more of a frustration with that than most, because like I suck at stealth, so like I kind of play it like an action game. So I'm constantly just riddled with bullets and darts and stuff. So just really, I hated going to that menu.
Me too.
Yeah, I was wondering, it's like, could they come up with just like the shorthand of like, if you get hit by a bullet, you hit this one button and it heals you on all those little things individually.
Maybe
like,
almost
together.
like the camo approach or something. I wish
right. But it's kind of, it
Do
loses
it one
so much of the
time in
flavor.
the menu, and then every time after that, it's auto.
Speaking of the menu, I did just look up. Someone in the chat said check Eva's medical history, and I wondered if there was a Easter egg I was not aware of, and I did just look it up. Ben, it's a little bit blue. What Kojima put in here? Do you want me to read this?
It's allowed.
Okay, this is a Kojima joke. Apparently, if you check Eva's medical history, it's got lower back pain, electrical burn, stuff from Volgan. And then it's got proctitis, which is a common cause is engaging in anal sex with multiple partners infected with STDs with men who also have sex with men. So that's basically saying Volgan had a bunch of anal sex with men, and then he had a bunch of anal sex with her and gave her proctitis. That's in the game. I'm looking at the survival viewer.
All right. Jesus
where does
Christ.
where do you find the medical history in there? This is like a part of the
It's in the survival viewer. I'll put the link in the chat there.
That's crazy.
That's pretty bad.
I could see Kojima doing that in 2004, that joke.
Okay.
Yeah, that's that.
All right, Dan,
Your
you dug the
favorite
hole.
game
Dig out
you
of
were
it.
saying, Ben. One of your favorite games.
Unimpeachable, I would say. On that note and everything else, I do think the ending of this game is iconic in a lot of ways, very memorable, especially if you played it back in 2004. But especially on this playthrough, I'm like, boy, in my memory, it was better. If I could edit this thing into an amazing ending, even for the year 2025, but just there are certain sequences just go on so long that's if I could just get in here with some scissors, I could make this into a beautiful finale, and it just isn't quite there now.
I don't need to know years or any of those details.
Well, we need more years was kind of the angle I was going, actually.
I kind of just feed on that though. Like 4 is the biggest offender. The reviews always mention there's a movie length cutscene at the end of 4.
It's absurd,
and it's when that starts up, I'm in full on grab the popcorn mode. I want to see those PowerPoints about DNA. I want to see the whole thing. And I kind of that's part of the charm, I guess, of Metal Gear. It's the only series that I would give that pass to because I think it's kind of fun.
I do get what you mean there. It's almost kind of I'm frustrated the whole time, but I get it, so it's okay. And I don't know how they quite compared to when we first started this deepest dive, and I was like, "This is a movie," and then now I'm kind of "Oh, it's doing the thing it loves to do," and I have forgiven it a lot. But even with those feelings, sometimes I'm like, "Oh my god!" enough. You get to certain points, but then you're weirdly endeared by it by the end.
It's unapologetic for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ending, especially, I felt like it was odd that with Ocelot specifically, I was I feel like there were 2 Ocelot boss fights that were cutscenes. Yes. There's him on the motorcycle chasing you, and then there's him on the plane fighting you.
It's so
and
absurd.
It's I didn't necessarily want to play either of those based on where the game was.
It kind of felt like your sibling was playing and you were watching.
Yeah, I was just there's so much Ocelot screen time in the end.
Yeah.
And again, where it's I don't know what this guy's deal is. I keep being why you keep following me? I killed your mom and your dad, and you're still here, I guess.
You didn't kill his dad.
I killed Volgan, who's kind of his.
And the mom
He
killed
just
the
hung
dad.
out with his ghost dad. Yeah,
you tried to shoot his ghost dad, I guess, technically. That is a big one. It's if, again, I thought I knew this game pretty well, but it's been 20 years. It's I would have bet the farm that you shoot boss and then it cuts to LBJ. That whole sequence of Ocelot coming on the plane and the fact that you still control Snake after the boss fight, but it's for 2 feet as you go and pick up a gun. What a weird thing.
Yeah, that's the last time you control him in that game. It's just if you don't count the click, 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 click thing.
Right.
I guess I'll pick this floating box on the left.
It's just a
Does it
zero.
matter?
I guess it's Ocelot's so important. We just wanted to have some other big finale with Ocelot.
It's
but
unnecessary.
It is completely unnecessary.
The fact that it's a blank, the fact that it was happening, I was oh, someone's going to die here, surely. Something really important's about to happen if they thought that this needed to happen after the boss died, and then it didn't. I was on the edge of my seat hoping that some would be relevant. I don't know. And then what was, did we have, and this isn't really important, Eva had his old revolver and then tosses it back to you, or
and Snake does a little spin on it, which is very nice that he gets a chance to twirl the gun as well. So just to make sure it's nice and even. But Shoji Kodo wrote in on Patreon. They say, during the final fight against Ocelot on the plane, if you choose to not shoot him while in first person mode while playing Russian Roulette, instead just watch as he slowly pulls the trigger over and over again while pointed at you, Snake will slightly flinch and blink as Ocelot pulls his trigger for the 6th and final time. I thought it was a nice little touch.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Do you all have the impression, because that line read is an odd delivery where Ocelot's it's a blank. He seems surprised by it.
At
he
your
must
bullet
know.
being a blank?
At both of them being a blank. Yeah, either of them.
both blanks.
There's only one. There's only
one bullet. Yeah, period.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing,
It's a
is you don't
blank.
know who has the gun.
Oh,
And-
does he say he set it up that way? Like one of them
No,
was
he
blank, one
doesn't.
of
But
them was real?
the way he yells about it, it makes it seem like he's surprised by it too. So I don't know if like boss.
It never occurred that to me. I always thought he was just kind of like, yeah, this was a bit.
Like, gotcha.
It doesn't
Yeah,
read like
I
that.
always
Listen
read
to his voice. It don't read like that. It really seems like it's a surprise to him.
This is what was around his neck. He had a blank bullet in a chain around his neck. Why? What was that from? Is that
It's from the
important?
beginning of the game.
Symbolism.
Haley actually called. That's one of the things you called Haley early on. Was you're like that bullet's going to be like relevant at the end. And I don't remember exactly what
Yeah.
you said, but I remember being like, yeah, she's right.
Men love bullets. I've learned that during my life as a woman.
It's certainly true. So people are saying he's considering it a joke. He's like, relax, it's a blank. That the line is odd. He's not surprised. All right, I'll be
This is
damned.
that you hate actors thing coming through. I don't know.
I just don't understand them. Why aren't they telling the truth? Oh, but I do like when he jabs Snake in the eye, like we just
I just saw that
Yeah,
too.
when he
That was
jabs
funny.
him in the eye, but it turns out they're like, it's no.
There's no
I don't have an
eyeball
eye
there.
here. But like, can you imagine anything worse? Having your eye get shot out and the bullet's still in there or wherever the hell it grazed by, but then swimming through like jungle water, which Snake does
Dirty
like just
jungle.
a couple
Not good.
minutes after that. It's not good, and I don't want to do it.
And someone pokes you in your eye hole.
And a lot of other things that happen in his life I don't want to experience
Yeah,
ever.
not pleasant.
Yeah.
Several
Yeah.
nukes going off around you, which is another thing that I forgot that.
Halo jumping.
But the boss just fires another
Yeah.
nuke during this section.
For fun. Yeah, just
Yeah, wait, what did she hit? What
she
was
blows
that?
up Groznygrad.
Yeah. That is the idea, I think.
Oh.
But it is just like a confusing just wave that you see. And it's like, okay, what is that coming from? And later on, they talk about Groznygrad being blown up. But yeah, people also wrote in very confused about
I
what
thought it was
exactly
kind of
was
like
going on.
like the evidence had to be destroyed for the
Yeah.
plan to be
Yeah.
efficient. Like it was like a necessary sort of evil, I guess you could say, of the mission being successful. Was kind of how I always read it.
Also, how do you aim those things? She shot two of them, perfectly hit, or Volgan shot one, she shot
Yeah.
one. It's just a hip fire thing. Like,
Yeah.
is that a real thing?
I don't
well,
think you really have to aim a nuke, to be fair.
I just get in the vicinity. Yeah, it's like horseshoes.
If
you-
you get in
if
a
you-
couple miles,
like
you're in pretty good
horseshoes.
shape.
Yeah.
well, I think it's kind of like, you got to get used to the drop off that's with the MK22. So just imagine
Sure.
even more of that, but for the nuke.
You can
That
never
makes
get
sense.
used to the drop off of a nuke because what are you going like? Just going testing it out. I guess they did
Yeah,
that
at
with
the range.
with the
Yeah.
Bikini
Yeah.
Islands or whatever. I
The
guess
range.
technically that's what that was for.
Do you see Oppenheimer? That's what they're doing.
Yeah, come on.
I saw Barbie.
Kinda.
Oh,
Oh, here we go.
You're allowed.
Here we go. We Go Giant is screaming. They wrote in and says, well, I do love this game. I feel the plot tries to spin a few too many plates at once. The warheads, how many were there? Volgan fires one at Sokolov's building. Then they never come up until the boss fires one at the end for no reason into a random forest. Then post-credits, Ocelot says that boss destroyed Granon's building and Groznygrad with them. So there's 4, but we only see 2. The lake is 30 miles away from Groznygrad. So the boss's shot before her fight was pointless. I think she just fired at 30 miles.
I think she says Groznygrad, doesn't she?
I don't think she does. I think
Does
she
she
just.
not?
I think the implication there is that she's hitting Groznygrad with that.
Yeah, I thought it was definitely 2. I thought there were 2 in the beginning.
Yeah.
And
It's a
Volgan
big
fired
deal
one
that
and
there's
boss
two
fired the
total.
other. Yeah.
Two total. Yeah, one from the helicopter,
that's
one in
what I
the
thought.
flower field. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, that's on the bridge. She has the two things, and
Yeah.
that's two. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one's the nuke, one's the actual weapon, right? I guess so. Yeah. Hey, it's Denzel in the chat says she's a good shot.
she has a good shot.
She's like the
I
ultimate.
believe it. Yeah.
This is the fight, folks. You guys were trying to figure out, was it going to be Volgan and then the boss, or the boss then Volgan? It all comes down to the flower field. How are you feeling about the big fight here?
I think.
Dan,
it
not
is-
you. Shut the up, Dan. I'm talking about the newcomers.
Haley, ladies
Dan
first.
can say. Dan can
No,
say.
no, he can't. We want to hear something fresh and new.
Dan does need a platform to talk about Metal Gear.
I do. When do I get to
why
talk
I
about
invited
this?
I no, but I genuinely do want to hear from Haley and Charles because you guys had the unique experience.
Yeah, no, 2 things. One, we didn't talk about it. Egregious that you can CQC Eva in that previous area. Why is that included in the game?
Yeah,
Oh,
why is
We
that?
I
forgot to
never
talk
did
about
that.
it.
Why did
There
you
is
figure
no
that out? Why are you
excuse.
attacking Eva?
No, it
as
starts
soon
out
as
you're,
I
like, right
queued
in front
in,
of her.
and I
Yeah.
by mistake hit R2, and he immediately grabbed her by your throat. I was like, "Why is this in the game?" There's
Can
no
you do like a
excuse for
fun
that.
kiss thing or something there?
No, he has a knife to her throat, and she
Oh,
goes,
that's
"What
not
are
a
you
good
doing?"
Maybe you can just drag her through so she. don't have to like inch your way. It's like I'm just gonna drag.
Maybe. I don't know if my partner made a joke. I never followed up, but he said if you interrogated her, she tells you her bra size. Is that true?
Really?
That's another medical history thing. Is they say breast enhancements.
Of course they do.
Oh my
Yes.
god.
Because this is really good. This is good stuff.
The philosophers
moving on
did it.
Auteur stuff.
Auteur.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving forward. I, for some reason, wanted to be a pacifist in this one fight, which is apparently the hardest one to be a pacifist in. I guess it's because I was role-playing Snake and I didn't want to kill my mom. I think that's where my headspace was at. So I was like, I can't kill her. And then actually, shout out to Jacob Geller, who came in the chat and role-played like someone on a call with me on the thing, and was like, Haley, you have to really time out the CQC things and hit it when it's slow-mo. I was like, thank you, Geller Man. And so it actually did help out a lot. That's what he called himself in the chat. It was perfect. And it took like 10 times longer than it could have if I just shot her, but it was way more fun to do it through that way and like headcanon it.
I mean, you were fighting her for like, what, 50 minutes? It was a long time.
Yes. I was also blind, remember?
Right.
I was like clinically blind at this point.
Commit
Crocodile.
to the bit.
And you can see in the gameplay now, I'm doing the crocodile outfit with the France face paint. Look, crocodile.
So stupid looking.
I was really doing it. I was taking in all the crotch shots when she was down to try to get as much down as I could. But what's funny is once you get that timing, she's so easy.
Yeah.
But it really does have to train you up, which I like games like that on your second playthrough, everything's a breeze and you've earned it. And now it's like extra fun because you're so good at it. Like Resident Evil does that really well as well. Like I like that feeling. So honestly, once I got it and she was running at me, I would just put my gun away and be like, come here. Like just get ready for the CQC thing. Yeah, it was really fun. So as soon as I kind of role played, kind of like what you were doing at the end, Ben, of like, I'm going to be really slow and sneaky. It's like more fun it's almost like playing with dolls, kind of. It's like, I'm going to play this the way that is the dumbest, but drags it out the longest.
Yeah. It's kind of like Barbie.
Fun. Yeah. It's kind of like Barbies.
I love that feeling of like, if you have your gun out and she CQCs you and takes your gun and just kind of throws it into the flowers.
That's so embarrassing.
But it's so fun when like she is just coming right at you. And she's like, pathetic. And she's just charging you. And that feeling of like, I got to unequip my gun. Because if she touches you, it's going to be a nightmare. Yeah. And the fact that, too, that like every time they start you out, every time you start out and you restart, it is just loading you into her charging you and CQCing and kicking her ass. That is just like the beginning point of every time that you try and do this fight. It's so fun.
Yeah.
I've probably played this fight 12, 15 times in my life. I don't know if I've done, like you guys are talking about the CQC stuff. I'm sure I've done that move a couple times during the fight, but like I just remember shooting her a bunch.
No, you can time it out perfect. So she has two modes. The first time she just does it once, and there's a very slow-mo half a second where it goes shwoo, and you can like hear an audio thing almost. If you press R2, he counters her and flips her over, and then she even says, "Very good, Jack," and like praises you like a good boy, and you're like, "Ee!" It's like fun. and then as soon as she's half health, you do it normally the first time, and there's a second whole animation where there also is a slow-mo, but it has like half the amount of time, like grace period to hit it. Okay. So I had to like learn the first one, and then I got a handle on that, and then I had to die like 3 more times before I got a handle on the second one too. But then in total, you only have to do that 5 times with her, and then also kick her on the ground while she's down to get a couple extra hits in.
This is to kick your mom while she's down.
And I had like 5 minutes left on the timer. Like she had even said 5 minutes left. Like I just had to do that a few times.
That's the thing I'm kind of confused about, where she's like, by the way, I have some MiGs coming. They're going to firebomb this place. I'm like, why? Just for the sake of the tension of the battle?
Kojima really likes The Rock, the movie.
Yes,
and
you're right.
I understand.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to have that pressure, I suppose. Yeah.
I'm pissed off that she had to zippy her whole shirt down and pull an Eva. Come on.
I know.
Yeah,
he almost wrote the perfect woman. He almost did it. Then he was like, what if she was hot, Mom? And I was like, no! It was so close.
It is true. Like I was going to think about that of like the entire time. The defense for 20 years has been like, not all Kojima's characters are weird and sexualized because the boss. And it's like, I forgot that at the end she's like, zip. But hey, it's
Like,
she can show the
She could have
scar.
zipped it back up, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
I kept saying as she was dying on the ground, I'm like, oh, I would just go and like zip it quickly. But
That's so when the scar turned into a snake and slithered away, it could get away. It'd be caught in the
There's
shirt.
always
otherwise.
an excuse.
Yeah,
Kojima.
yeah.
There's always an excuse. That's how they breed. That's how their scars can turn into
yes.
sentient snakes and slither.
Yes.
I was trying to, speaking of her sexuality, I was trying to look into, because originally Kojima said that she was inspired by Charlotte Rampling, the old model. I'm sure I'm
that?
butchering that. But I wonder for Delta if they went back and tried to make her look more like that, because I don't think they really did. She's an old model, believe it or not, quite the vixen back in the day.
Oh, she's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, it's a cool look for a huge character in this game, but this Delta model doesn't really look as much like that. But Charles, how was the fight for you?
I thought it was cool. I was a little so her move where she takes your gun and takes the ammo out of it. I was like, I don't know why I doubted you for a second, Metal Gear. That's the exact type of shit that you pull off. Other than that, I was kind of underwhelmed because I wasn't like a lot of the other fights have like big insane gimmicks. This was just like pretty and cool.
Yeah.
But I do like the sneaking, and I like that it does have a lot of things I said in earlier episodes that I like in a boss fight, where it's like I can use all my tools. It's incorporating like the action-y parts of the game if I want to do that. I can also play it really stealthy and just kind of like crawl around in the flowers and then pop out and hit her with a rocket launcher and then crawl away again. And I think that's fun. My main thing is that they don't have music playing the whole time.
Yeah.
It's only like at the end where I'm just like, I wish this was like you should really, because once I got it down, like Haley said, it was like I was getting it done before the limit, so the music was like barely starting right as I finished her off, where it's one where it's like I want this to be like a big show piece the whole time.
Yeah, it is interesting how they just, I kind of like the beauty of it, of like we're just going to hear nature and her shouting at you, and then the music will start to build at the end when it
And the
becomes a
footsteps,
factor.
when you hear her running, it's like, whoop.
Yeah.
I like that, yeah.
Yeah, but it is an interesting choice. It's a pretty bold one.
It's just it's a very maximalist game series. So to go minimalist at the moment that the whole game has been leading up for, to me, is like incongruous in my head, where I'm like, if it's going to be a big dramatic game and this is the biggest, most dramatic moment for Snake, I would love for it to be like horns and sweeping violins and a bunch of crazy stuff. But
I actually quite like the sort of tranquility of it, honestly, within the flowers and stuff, especially after, what is arguably like the biggest sort of bombastic moment of the game with the Shagohod. I like that it gets, because like the way I did is like I put on the snow camo and did a lot of sniping, and so it was like very sort of slow paced and quiet.
Same.
And this is a part of the game that like the more I play it over the years, the more I like it, and the more I like her sort of monologue at the end and explaining everything, like because it is very dense and hard to follow. And now that I've played this game like once every, I don't know, 5 or 6 years or something like that. Like this was the time like I enjoyed it the most, because I kind of like had the best handle on what was happening. So yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, Charles, but I kind of like the sort of like turning down the volume for the sort of the penultimate sort of moment of the game, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
It made you have to really listen. Like for once, I was like using my own actual human ears to figure out where she was, because I'd lose sight of her just as easily as she lost sight of me half the time.
Yeah.
did you use the thermal goggles?
No, I just crawled around on the ground like an alligator until I saw her ankles.
Like an alligator.
I appreciate the commitment to alligator mode.
Alligator mode was working.
Rawr.
Yeah, but then eventually, once you get the CQC stuff, you really don't have to even hide from her, like, because she doesn't auto shoot you. You kind of learn like what triggers her shooting and what triggers her. She yells something. I think she just like, "Here I come" or whatever, and that's how you know the timing has to be ready, and you just kind of put away your gun and sit on the other side of the battlefield and wait for her.
Yeah.
They teach you to do that in military school. Yell, "Here I come!" before you.
Here I come.
Sure, do yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was having a good time. I really love this fight, but then it's like, oh, that's right. Like, if you just treat it like a sniping fight, like it's pretty simple. Like she just looks so dopey, just sitting, leaning against trees with her head sticking out most of the time. Like, all right, I'll just take the shot on the greatest soldier in the world over and over again. Okay.
Yeah, that's why it's like, I think in terms of like the setting with the flower field and just the tone and all the like narrative implications that go into it, I think it is like, to me, like when I think of like my favorite boss fights, especially final boss fight in a game, might be my favorite. But in terms of the gameplay itself and actually what you are doing, I think it's weaker than most of the ones in this series. I would say in general. But, again, I don't think I really was doing the CQC stuff much. I think I was mainly doing the like put on the snow camo, hide behind a log, and try to sniper with the thermal goggles on.
Yeah.
And to me, that's not super fun.
All right, rank the boss fights in 3, Dan.
End is the best.
Okay.
I don't like. Okay, I'm gonna go. Fear is maybe the worst.
Wow.
I don't like the fear one. I suck at that. Like, I'm just not a good sneaky guy, which is weird because like Metal Gear is my favorite series ever. I can't sneak around. I just suck at it. So like I like ones that are more kind of that puzzle type boss fight, like what Haley mentioned. That's why I love Psycho Mantis and things like that.
Yeah.
The Fury's pretty frustrating. I remember thinking like actually it might not be my favorite boss fight entry in the series. I like elements about it. I like that they all scream their name and explode at the end.
Well,
that's funny to me.
No doubt.
I like that there's a B-man and all that stuff. But like, if you ask me which ones I really love the boss fights themselves, I think it's the end, and I think it's the Shagohod stuff. Don't love the pain one and constantly jumping in the water, getting the bees off. Don't like the fear one that much. The Fury, I like just how weird it is in that character, but like it's like a worse version of the Vulcan Raven fight in the first one, where it's like I want to walk around and like place claymores and like hide in places and remember where I put the charges, but like it always just annoys me more than that. So I kind of don't love a lot of the boss fights in this one.
That is so weird. I think that's kind of
and you also forgot Ocelot in the way that I did twice.
Well, I mean, I didn't even. Yeah, that's just I think that's maybe a less. I kind of like the way you fight him in Metal Gear Solid 1, where it's just you're running around a square. Like I know you can do more in Twin Snakes and everything, but I think the whole like C4 guy in the middle is like a real cool setup, and just like, I don't know, bees in a canyon. Like I didn't really love that.
Yeah. It is so weird because I think, we talked about it, like when you think of the game with the greatest boss fights of all time, I'm sure we've had that debate at Game Informer 1,000 times. Like Metal Gear Solid 3 is always in that discussion, and it is like, it's just the power of the theme, power of the characters, and just kind of the personality of the bosses shining so much brighter than the gameplay in every metric. And I think it's true for a lot of the series.
But I think 1 is the one that kind of rode that line the best, because like they're all super memorable, cool names, cool gimmicks, cool locations. You're fighting them all. They've got the weird stuff like the Psycho Mantis stuff, like all the Liquid Snake stuff at the end is awesome. Like I think 1 has the best, just like motley crew of fun boss fights for sure. I think 2 is one of the weakest ones. I'd say 2 is weaker than 3 as far as the boss fights.
Yeah,
Fat Man's incredible. Fat guy on roller skates, planting bombs everywhere is just awesome Kojima.
Yeah, Vamp.
It's kind of weak.
Yeah, I don't like all of the bosses in 4. I think are really weak.
My wife loves the Beauty and the Beast squad. She's the one.
Really?
Yeah, and that's the only one she's played. The first and only Metal Gear she played was 4. I mean, she's played Delta and stuff now, but like she played it and loved it and loved Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, okay. Hey, to each their own. Can we just tell you one thing from 4, Charles and Haley? Is it allowed? Not the ending, which I think is nice to keep secret, but it's relevant.
That would be a 6-hour deepest dive.
Yeah, stay tuned. But it's Ava comes back in 4.
Oh.
And it's revealed that she's the surrogate mother for all of the Big Boss clones. So like Solid and Liquid came from her. And so Solid calls her Big Mama throughout the game.
I have something to say to that.
Yeah.
They're clones? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're clones of Big Boss. That's the idea. So.
I thought
so that's why
they
at the
were
end,
his
at the end of the
daddy.
credits, it says like 1970 something. Les Enfants Terribles are born, and that's the multiple snakes. Yeah.
And Haley, you'll be happy to know that zipper on her shirt, she never figured it out. She was never able to zip up that jacket,
she's like
even as an old
super
woman.
Must be
cool,
cold.
like 80-year-old woman in 4.
She looks
still riding
awesome
that
in
motorcycle.
4. It was
She
really
pretty
exciting.
sweet.
I love
that was not spoiled for me. So when she showed up in 4, I was like, "Whoa, Ava's here! That's crazy!"
Yeah.
That's cool.
She looks great.
She only gets off her bike if she dies or if she falls in love. She's very clear about the rules of riding that bike. Yeah.
It's like Drive with Sandra Bullock.
It's exactly
But
it.
the rules twisted a little bit.
But yeah, there's so much monologuing here with the boss. And of course, she says the line that we all fully understand before the fight even, where she says, "Light is but a farewell gift from the darkness to those on their way to die." I paused it, and I really was trying to choke that one down.
I've never thought of that line in my life.
Light is but a farewell gift from the darkness to those on their way to die.
I get it until the those about to die thing.
Yeah.
It's just the dark being like, bye, I'm the dark, I'm going away, here's the light. But then the people dying, I don't really understand.
It's a little bit unclear.
If you're older, light being goodness or grace you can give to other people, you're on your way to the darkness. So she's giving her love and teachings to Snake.
I like that.
So living while she's on the way to the darkness.
I like that.
This feels like the codec call you have with like Sigan or something after you like in the middle of that conversation. He's like, hold on 1 second, I gotta parse this with somebody. I gotta get a second opinion on this.
And then that's why her C-section scar has the rattle from the rattlesnake. That explains it.
Wow.
I do want to say, not spoilery, but a great thing about 4 is it obsessively makes sure that every loose end is tied up from that series, including just like anybody you have met in this series, including all these people from 1963, 1964, all wind up being incredibly important in like 2020, whatever it is. Like they're all tight ends. Like I kind of love it. It's like, okay, I guess we had a plan for this character too.
Even the pooping guy, Haley.
Poopin' guy has a whole family tree you'll learn about.
Johnny Sasaki.
Johnny Sasaki has a whole family tree. There's a wedding tied to the poop family.
I'm weak.
There are fun fan theories that the missing Ava, that it is Johnny Sasaki. That it is, and he's the one who helped you in the jail cell because he actually was the one who defected to the Soviet Union.
So he was pretending to poop his pants. I don't
know if I go that far. It seems like very real poop.
They explain the pants pooping gene too. They really go nuts with this.
Yeah.
In 1962, I was pooping my pants when I
that's
realized
the thing.
I
You're
could
joking, Haley. You're joking.
But
well, Dan.
Yeah.
That's the thing about IBS. It runs in your genes.
Heyo.
Charles, you had something smart to say?
I was gonna ask about Sigint, and last time you guys said like, we'll have something to say about him in the last episode.
Oh yeah, what was that?
Well, if you look at the timeline, the timeline says that he then worked at ARPA and helped form the internet. And do you remember in Metal Gear Solid 1, there was a character who might have been not ARPA, but DARPA chief?
What's happening?
The guy that dies in the jail cell after you just have a conversation with him, but then it turns out it's not.
That's Sigint?
That's, well, yes, but no.
Okay.
Effectively, yes.
So
You gotta, Metal Gear, you gotta pick yes or no.
No, you can't. Because look, if you just
but no.
If you just
Take off
look
your
at the
headphones,
guy,
Haley. Take off your headphones.
yeah.
That just yes, that is Sigint. Yes, that I mean, not quite,
which
but
I
yes.
I actually didn't realize, and I kind of had that revelation last episode where I Googled it, and I was like, yeah, what else happened to Sigint? And I was like, oh, God, he was the DARPA chief. I didn't connect those dots.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's a body in a jail cell.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
wow.
But the point is, yes, that guy is technically the DARPA chief, which is very... I thought they were more on the nose with it. So I forgot that it was just like in the credits, like, oh, he went to work at ARPA. It's like, okay, then you have to remember that that's DARPA, and then he became the DARPA chief, and then that's the whole thing.
What are these acronyms also? I read that, and I was like, ARPA? I don't know what that
is. It? Advanced Research something. It's sci-fi weird tech within the American government. So it's like a real thing.
Also, you could make a billion guesses as to what the fate of your commander in Snake Eater winds up doing, and you would not be able. I'll just say he appears in 4 in a way you would not possibly be able to guess.
Everything's
absurd. Hilarious.
I was confused, not to jump to the end credits too much, but that line about talking about like formation of the EMT. Yeah, 1966, the Department of Transportation lays the groundwork for the creation of the EMT system.
It's the paramedic.
So that's
right?
paramedic is
paramedic
instrumental to that. Okay.
Yeah.
That's like the weirdest date I think on there for like, wait, what is the Department of Transportation?
It's just like at the end of like the Sandlot, and it's like, oh, this guy went on to do this, and this guy,
Which at the end of Sandlot 2, a character gets abducted by aliens.
I thought we were just getting like big moments in U.S. military history or something. Like it didn't occur to me that they all applied to Metal
it's like
Gear
your high school
characters.
year. It just has that section that's like, here's a bunch of stuff that happened this year. You're like, okay.
Yeah, it's like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
By the way, we moved on from the boss stuff, but I did want to highlight. I can't remember her name, which is embarrassing because I met her, but I really have always liked the
Lori
performance.
Allen.
Lori Allen's performance as the boss, especially in this moment, because like it's just so. She seems like a little bit on the verge of tears at all times to me. Like she's just really.
I'd be bummed. If I was her.
But I do think it's like, as much as I love David Hayter, I just think it's Hayter's fun, Like, I don't know
He's
if I would
silly.
really
Yeah.
feel like moved by him, but I really do think the boss is like I really do feel things when she's like talking about like how hard this has all been for her, you know?
Especially the script she's given. It's very like giving a presentation on world history, yet she processes it off as like she actually cares about what she's talking about.
And having to repeatedly say just ridiculous Kojima stuff like CQC, the basics of close quarter, like just saying it over and over and over again. She actually like makes it work.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just now occurred to me that the opening sequence where they talk about the earth was blue, but there was no God, or something like that. That's she also went to space.
Yes.
And I guess had a similar revelation.
Well, not about God, but about just like it's just us. It's just there's no borders. It's just all of us It is
together.
funny,
There's no
the idea of
line.
like I went to space and realized, wait a minute, this is just a continuation of the arms race between the Soviet Union and America. It's like, boss, you're pretty smart. I would have thought you would have figured that out before you were actually in orbit looking down.
And the
like,
Fury just went psychotic. Like that was his reaction.
Yeah, but do you think he's like, was he like in the like seat next to her? It's like, like on a roller coaster, just losing his mind.
She went up there like how Katy Perry did.
Yeah.
For the vibes.
Yeah.
Did you hear what Mariah Carey said when someone asked her about that? Did you guys hear
No,
that?
what?
They're like,
What'd
did you hear
she say?
Katy Perry went to space? She's like, she went to space? And she's like, do you want to do anything like that? And Mariah Carey just goes, I've done a lot of things. She's like, I'm good.
Leave me alone.
Done plenty.
Yeah, so that was her big epiphany. I forgot about the detail too, where she's like, "Oh, Snake, part of the reason I was drawn to you is because you were on the Bikini Atoll during nuclear tests." And I was trying to figure out, like, how much have they explained about Big Boss's backstory? Like, why was he on those islands while those tests were going off? Like,
Why are they standing there? Yeah.
yeah, it seems
I
like
just assumed he was just like a guy who was really good at being a soldier. I figured that was the whole backstory.
So it's just like, okay, there's some
a dude.
military thing there, so that we'll just send him there, and then just so happens he's going to
Maybe he just
witness
stood
those
out,
blasts.
I guess, as like a talented guy, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, or maybe he was the closest to the blast and he was sterilized because it's all. I was a little confused with that, like because online it's like, oh well, of course Big Boss fought in the Korean War. What? I don't know where they acknowledge that. Is that like some Kodak call in Peace Walker or something? I don't remember anything about that, but I'm sure it's in there in some
Poopy
way.
Johnny tells you or something. Probably.
Poopy Johnny has a spin-off in the Korean War.
Poopy Johnny in
play
the
that.
Korean
Look.
War.
Yeah, all the people have been talking lately about like, oh, should Konami make new Metal Gears? And I've been
Yeah.
saying, no, we've told that story. It's done. If they decide to just go Poopy Johnny, go for it. Like I would play
love a
those
Poopy
games.
Johnny game.
Metal Gear Poopy
Yes.
Johnny. Yeah.
Yes.
No, you don't even need Metal Gear to sell it. Poopy
Yeah,
Johnny's
Poopy
enough
Johnny.
to get me.
Poopy
Oh,
Johnny
okay.
Solid is like
Poopy Johnny is
some
solid.
fiber.
Poopy Johnny, yeah. Liquid is, yeah, the enemy.
We don't want liquid. Poopy Johnny liquid doesn't hit the same. Yeah.
So do you think that the boss, when she was going on and on about like the Bay of Pigs invasion in Cuba, and she's like, and I was so frustrated because I was getting those soldiers out of there, the people that were joining the U.S. to help, and then there was no air support and they died, like the exiles were killed. And she's like, she was betrayed by her country with that entire thing. So is that a real grievance, but ultimately it doesn't matter in the face of the bigger mission on behalf of the U.S. to get the Philosopher's Legacy? Or is she just using all of these little small complaints to conceal her big, true mission? Or is that just nonsense?
Like,
I don't know.
if you can avoid millions of deaths by killing hundreds of people, that's justified. I feel like that's how her philosophy works. Like, she doesn't really care about micro. She's only macro. And so all this extra stuff about like motives for why she gets to that point in thinking is the only reason why we hear that. Like, why does she think that way? Because she got betrayed so much that she realized she was treated that way. So why doesn't she just try to do the most good by stopping the Cold War and getting above all that? That was my take on it.
And she's hoping to just stop it by getting the Philosopher's Legacy, and then that'll end the Cold War forever. Or is it not a matter of winning the Cold War? It's just a matter of letting
I
the
think it's
U.S.
as simple as
Ending it.
she wanted world peace was
Yeah.
her dream. And then like that very much influences just the entire timeline of people misinterpreting what she wanted.
Right. It's a continuing thing to try and figure out what exactly she was after,
But
which
that's
is kind
the
of cool.
thing. It's like Big Boss and Zero and stuff having different thoughts on what she meant by that.
Yeah, I got all that. It's more just, how many of the breadcrumbs are legit grievances in her mind? Or is it
I
all
feel like
just
she's
throwing them
lying
off
to
the
you
track?
while she's explaining this, kind of.
That's the question. I don't know. Yeah,
is she pointing out the futility of like, oh, you're not loyal to your ideals or the people in your life. You're just loyal to the mission. You're just being a good soldier. Is she pointing out the futility to him while ultimately doing the good soldier thing? Like, yeah, it's unclear.
It's an interesting conundrum. And so she was 9 months pregnant at D-Day.
I think most of the soldiers were.
As every woman in the globe was.
Yeah, you saw Private Ryan. Yeah.
Does the D stand for delivery?
I think it might mean delivery, Dave.
The biggest mass delivery. It was like a flash mob. It was the first flash mob. Everyone giving birth on the beach at D-Day.
But then the one when little baby Ocelot came out and they spanked it and he didn't cry. He just went, and it was his first words. Yeah.
Inspiring.
That's great.
I
wish I'd known that was Ocelot. Like I wish the game had told me that instead of 80 other things.
Well, why would you want a game to tell you when Dan could just blurt it out?
It's like the game we're talking about.
It's interesting though because like I don't feel like I think that's interesting stuff, but that's the thing that's interesting to me about the Metal Gear series is that like I enjoyed 1 and 2 and 3 and I did not pick up on these nuances or like little character things. You're talking about the connections between them where like you can just kind of sit there and take in the vibes. I'm like, man, this stuff's crazy. I'm going to play another. Like I'm sitting here and I'm like, I'm so confused. I don't really understand what's going on. And you keep talking about 4, and I'm like, do I need to play 4 now? I have other stuff to do. But
Charles, that's where I was with the series. As much as I just love the vibes of it and the gameplay and everything, it took me years after playing 2 to where, like, when I was in college and I was getting really into the lore before 3, I still have a lot of the sheets I had where I was making flow charts, being like, okay, so this person wants this person's aligned with this person, like trying to piece it together in my head. I probably played it 4 or 5 times before I realized what was going on there. And after 4, I loved 4. Definitely didn't understand everything because it was a few years later at Game Informer, I was talking about Revolver Ocelot as a character. And Joe Juba brought something up to me, another Metal Gear guy, and he was like, yeah, but Ocelot is this. And it's like a huge thing about his character and his allegiances and motives. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't even realize that. Okay, and it's such a huge part of the story, and it took me years to realize it. So that is kind of, I mean, I might just be stupid, and maybe other people get it right away, but like, I think you can kind of simmer in this for a while and appreciate it more over time.
It weirdly, like the revelation of Ocelot being, Boss's son and stuff. I also similarly, like, that happened later for me. Like, I learned that outside of the game.
Yeah.
And I actually did like that. Like, I liked that it wasn't foregrounded. Like, it made it kind of this, like, secret, this big secret that you can kind of discover on its own. So I had the right sort of discovery mode for it, and it worked for me. But it's like, there's just a lot of stuff under the surface of these games that's, like, interesting that they don't really need to foreground because the game is designed to be so full of secrets anyway, whether that's gameplay or story or whatever. Like, I don't know. It always kind of clicks and works for me.
Yeah.
You can't play Metal Gear without the junior high.
To talk about it with
true. It's by the longer.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if this is something, because like I've already seen a lot of the DNA of Death Stranding, obviously, in these games, but like that seems like something that didn't transfer over, of like a very cool connection between two characters that is hinted but never explained, and then you kind of learn about it off the game. I don't think that happens in Death Stranding 1 or 2, and we don't need to get into
surfaced
it.
Yet. I don't know.
Yes. Oh. Well,
I mean, he also. You got to remember that, like, 3. Like, by the time we're here, this is the 5th official Metal Gear, or gosh, more than that even. And like, he's been doing it since like the late 80s, right? When did Metal Gear 1 come out?
87, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, this is only the second Death Stranding game, right? So it's like there just hasn't been that time to like sort of plant those seeds yet.
To plant the seeds. Yeah.
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 Also kind of felt like, it did feel like Kojima was making up a lot of it as he went along. So like if he were to make a Death Stranding 3, there's nothing stopping him from being like, haha, I had this great plan the whole time. Yeah,
I mean, the fun thing about is like one thing I like about 5 is it answers questions I never had about the NES games. Like, it's like I was never going to ask that question, but I appreciate you giving me an answer. Thanks for that.
And by the way, Kyle, you're killing me. It's the MSX games.
Yeah, I know.
I apologize.
Oh, the nerds are screaming.
Because 2 never even came out on NES, did it? That's right.
Snake,
well,
you consider Snake's Revenge the real 2.
Yeah, he never stops raving about Snake's Revenge.
That's our next deepest dive.
That would be interesting. No, but like we've talked about it before, Dan, but it was so much fun with Game Informer, going on cover story trips and like doing research ahead of time and all that stuff. And like the most fun ever was going on the Metal Gear Solid 5 cover story trip and like trying to be an expert on the Big Boss timeline before Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain, just so like we knew our stuff when interviewing Kojima and writing that story. Like that was so much fun. I just remember like sitting at like the Coco Curry and just like triple checking like, okay, so this timeline here and this is the gap and this is the question we need to focus on here. Like just, it's so fun just to do research for Solid Snake, sure, but like just the Big Boss timeline is so fascinating. It's
I remember, like on the weekend, like watching me and you just drinking beers and watching Tim play and like playing through the MSX games to prepare for this game that came out 20 something years later, 30 years later.
Yeah. And I know you've dabbled a lot with Peace Walker. Like I just watched it on YouTube, like the cutscene version of Peace Walker.
I've never played through it.
Okay, but have you seen like the full story?
That is surprising.
Yeah, I've watched all the cutscenes. I just hate the PSP. I just don't like the PSP or the V.
But it's like fully playable on modern consoles.
I know, and so I don't have an excuse now. And I have a note on my phone, and there's a huge list of Giant Bomb ideas. Is that once we get past all this kind of busy stuff, I do want to do a 4-player. But I'm kind of waiting to see like, well, if they do a Volume 2 Master Collection, that's gonna be the way to do it.
I mean, it is a totally functional single player Metal Gear game. Like it is a good single player Metal Gear Solid game. That's why I'm kind of shocked you haven't played it, because it's like a totally canon valid like entry.
I know it is, but it was the portable thing got to me, and then I did try it a little bit, but then it was like the whole like the way the missions were kind of structured, where it was more like a Monster Hunter type thing, which at that point I had not played a Monster Hunter. Now that I played Phantom Pain and everything, and I kind of see how that flow would be, I'm definitely much more open to it. So I will play through that at some point, but as of now, I've just watched the cutscenes, and also the cutscenes being not actually like really animated, like it's got that comic book style, you know.
Yeah. Hi, Giant Bomb Raiders. Welcome. We're talking about the ending of Metal Gear Solid 3 and other things, believe it or not.
We stole your Dan.
We have him now. Kalajor writes in, though, Dan, on that note, talking about the bite-sized nature of that. And they say, hey, I played through the entire game on 3DS. Yeah.
That's insanity.
And they say, I played in
That's
20-minute
amazing.
segments while commuting. And just wanted to point out the incredible pacing of Metal Gear Solid 3. Just about every 20 minutes, you're watching a new cutscene, a new area, or a new boss fight, and done in that time. That's cool. Every 20-minute commute, you get a new little chunk of this game.
Did we talk about the crazy thing about the 3DS version when you lose your eye? Did we talk about that?
That was on the main MinnMax show, yeah. But there was a comment on the last Deepest Dive, which no one wrote it about. But yeah, I love that idea that when you go in first person, after you lose your eye in the 3DS version, it's no longer in 3D, even if you have your slider up.
That's awesome.
That makes me want, because I started playing it recently for the first time, and I was like, this is basically unplayable. This is terrible. But that almost makes me want to be like, do I need to like check out that whole thing? It's such a cool. I love that kind of stuff.
That's like my favorite detail about a game I've ever heard in my life.
Put it on Switch. Put the 3DS version on Switch, and it only works if you put it on the Virtual Boy thing.
Smart. Now we're talking. Absolutely.
Get the frame rate up a little bit.
Now it's worth it.
But Charles, you're talking about wanting to play Metal Gear Solid 4. You should. Clearly, but wait for Volume 2. Like, if we don't know anything, but like, presumably it's going to be in there, and you don't rush and play it on PS3 before then. You know
what else? Yeah, I don't have a PS3, so it's like that'd be a whole
it's
thing.
the only way to play it.
Yeah,
what else would be in Volume 2?
So I think there's maybe enough for 2 more, because you got 2 big headliners where 4 could headline 1. Peace Walker could do the other, and then you can kind of fill it out with there were 2 Portable Ops games, 2 Acid games, Ghost Babel. So I think you could kind of spread it out and just like probably, unless you want to put like 6 games in one volume, I think you got to have one big main event in each one. 4 in Peace Walker. Or Phantom Pain, yeah.
Yeah, there were 5 games in Volume 1.
Yeah.
So 6.
It did have the first 2 MSX games, didn't it?
Yeah, it's in Subsistence technically, I think, right?
Yeah, Subsistence had 1 and 2. Yep.
But there's also a like canon prequel to Metal Gear Solid 2 that was released on Japanese cell phones that was developed by a British developer that I have valiantly tried to reach out to like over the years and like learn about it, like who made that, what was it, but it has like implications about like there's like huge references to like the sort of the nature of the ending of Metal Gear Solid 2 in this like mobile game prequel that's like was only available on like one type of phone and looks good. Like it's like a 3D Metal Gear game. It's wild. I would love to. I mean, that's like pie in the sky. That there's no universe where they figure out how to port that thing to like a volume. But I would love to have something like that on like a volume 2.
I do think. I think here's your strategy is you try and like break it up by eras, right? So I think Volume 2. It'd be 4 as obviously the headliner.
Gotta have 4,
and then you put Ghost Babel and you put the Acid games on there. Whatever. People will buy it for just 4 alone. Yeah, whatever. And then 3 would be Metal Gear Solid 5 re-release. and then also Peace Walker Portable Ops, and just get the big boss stuff on that one. Right.
And there's other weird stuff like the digital graphic novel for PSP. That was a thing they sold by stuff. There was the document of Metal Gear Solid 2, which was a PS2 purchase. Like
There was
there
the
are
PS3
a lot of weird
app that was just like
with the timeline, which is pretty
yeah.
good actually. Yeah, there's some good stuff there. So yeah, there's enough if they really want to go nuts and do 3 of them.
Yeah. Hey, back to the boss fight. Amos Dragon says the best change they made for the remake is the addition of new animations during the boss fight. There's quite a few new CQC animations, including when you actively parry her attacks. It makes the fight so much more exciting, as difficult as it is to nail the timing at first. Stuff like that makes me wish they did new animations for other boss fights, so just taken straight from the PS2 game. But Volgan's fight also had new animations, and they're really good. I love that. Thanks for paying attention.
I'd love just all the new character models. Like Volgan, I think might be one of the best ones. Like his face with the scars.
really
And
cool.
stuff
Scars
like,
look really cool, yeah.
Then they all look like, you would expect, like when they did the pachinko machine, 10 years ago or whatever.
Yeah, right.
Like, it's like, this looks like I remember these characters looking, just obviously just much better fidelity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were
Luke
there
the
any
Man.
characters
please.
that you guys thought, like from the PS2 to this new version, that you're like, they totally went in the wrong direction?
Any changes, you said?
Just Ocelot.
Yeah, just
Ocelot,
from
I think,
old
is the
to
most
new.
different. Ocelot is less of a
okay.
pretty boy in Delta, and it's still a little bit jarring. But I get if they want to unify him a little bit more with the look of the sorrow, and I guess not even how he looks in 5. He looks so different in 5. It doesn't really. Yeah, it was different all the time. Whatever. He kind of looks a little bit more like 1, I guess. But
Yeah, I think they all look pretty great, honestly.
no.
He looks a lot older in the old game.
Yeah, and then it's so weird. I was looking at 5 today just to get a sense of Troy Baker's Ocelot. It's like, oh, he was 40 years old canonically in
In
know,
5?
Phantom Pain, where it's like he's an old 40. He's got like flowing white hair. He's older than Code Talker, for Christ's sake.
He's just not like Ocelot's always just kind of like a sassy weirdo, like in all the other games, and then he's just like some dude in 5, you know?
But we did like it in the trailer when he said, "Let the legend come back to life." That was pretty sweet.
Said a couple cool things, yeah.
Luke the Man writes in and said, anyone else spot the 3 snakes in the final battle? Do you notice this, Charles and Haley?
Like from
In
the tree?
tree.
Yeah, so near each log, there's a white snake with red eyes. When you check them in the food menu, they're named Snake Solid, Snake Liquid, and Snake Solidus.
Ben, can I ask a question about if Charles remembers something about Solidus from 2?
Haley, you're the lawyer.
It's maybe one of my favorite things in dumb Metal Gear history.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
The third snake, Solidus Snake, becomes the president of the United States. He has a Dr. Octopus suit that shoots missiles, and you
remember that.
sword fight him on the top of the U.S. Treasury building in New York City with his swords that he named Republican and Democrat.
That's great.
Okay, I didn't remember the name of the swords. I was gonna say Dr. Octopus. That's what this is. I was like, yes, okay.
Yeah.
And Haley, you know what's so great is like that's a spoiler for Metal Gear Solid 2 that like you couldn't internalize because it's so crazy.
Yeah.
And you'll
You will
start that
forget,
game
yeah.
and you'll be like, how will this be relevant? And it's like it's just gonna come at you real fast.
Oh,
And
he's
it'll
the
actually be
president?
totally fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have been talking for a while about the end of Metal Gear Solid 3 without talking about maybe the most important button press at the end of Metal Gear Solid 3. What'd you guys think of finishing the boss off?
I
that
love
was
it.
sick as hell.
It's awesome, and it's one of my favorite
Dan,
memories. Is
for the last time, I don't care. Let's get the first timers first, please. Charles, it was sick as hell. Thank you.
He's
I mean,
passionate.
Let the
It's a
passion
nice
go last.
thing in a game when there's a moment where it's a pause and you don't know if you've gone from cutscene to gameplay, and The Last of Us Part 2 I think is a recent popular example where it's like, oh, you're in the cutscene and it's like, no, you're not watching this, you're participating.
Right,
And I
right.
just wasn't. I think I've mentioned this before, but when I played Metal Gear Solid 1 on the like HD collection or whatever it was, the thing that made me realize, oh, this game series is legit and has been from day one, is when I was walking around in the snow and a guard spotted my footprints and like followed me, and I was like, oh, like there's a lot more attention to detail here than I was expecting. And the way that the thing I liked about the boss fight the most is when she took my gun and the ammo out, and then this moment at the very end where I was like, every time I think I know what this series is gonna like have me immersed in a certain way, it like takes it in a different direction. And that was one where I was like, beautiful. And also crazy that that's not the last button press of the game, because there's
I
the whole
know!
revolver fight. But that would have been a beautiful ending thing.
Oh, that's right there. Haley, did it move you? Did it get you?
I didn't press any buttons.
That is...
You didn't?
I
I
did it on
also
purpose,
had
yeah.
that problem. When I played this the first time, I was like, well, I'm not going to press a button. And then
I'm gonna kill my mom.
I hate that it moves you forward. And
It
Haley,
kills her, yeah.
I went back and timed it. It's 35 seconds before the gun goes off. I'm like,
wow.
that's not enough time to consider the scope of the relationship between these two.
Like at least make it like 10 minutes or
Yes.
something. You know, like
Yep.
punish you by waiting a long time or something because you get bored.
Yeah.
You really want to be a pacifist, yeah.
I don't understand why it's that quick. Like, because I would love to
didn't
see
like-
the stats. Like, I bet a majority
I
of
didn't
people
like
sat
that.
there and waited.
I waited, yeah. So like I have kind of like a quirk of if you give me the option to choose, I won't shoot, and it's historically ruined a lot of playthroughs of games in the past. Like my partner and I play all the super massive games, and like it's now a joke that there's one, and I won't say which one because it would spoil the ending of one of the endings, I guess, of that one, where essentially like we had done like an almost perfect run through, and it's like I needed to just shoot this monster, otherwise everyone would die. But the monster was whimpering, so I was like, oh. And Michael was like, shoot it! Oh my god, shoot it! And like, you know, the little timer that's like ticking around. I was like, I can't, it's whipping. He's like, we played this for 12 hours. Shoot it! And I didn't shoot it, and it killed us all. And he was like, God damn it! And I still don't live that down. And I don't know, something about it, my instincts. I think it's more of like I like to see everything in games.
Yeah.
So I like to wait and see if I get like an extra good girl point for not doing something, and I get a little
Right.
extra cutscene or something. But yeah, I like put down the controller and held my hands up and go, I'm not shooting my mom. And then yeah, it like was like, pew,
Yeah.
and it killed her.
Yeah, you are.
And I was like, I didn't. And then chat was like, why'd you do that? I was like, I didn't. Like I literally had my hands up, and I don't know. I feel like for a game that's so you can eat the rat with a fork if you have a fork out kind of game. I kind of wanted there to be an extra little twisty mystery to this besides just like, we wait 30 seconds and shoot her for you.
Yeah.
That was really fork rat of you, you know?
It wasn't giving fork rat realness. And I was really wanting.
Can I ask, so you beat her without killing her?
Shooting her. Yeah.
Like what
I didn't
what
even
is
shoot her once.
do we know what the difference between the cutscenes immediately after is? Is there anything major? Like what do you get for doing that?
You get an outfit that gives you like pretty much the best outfit in the game. That is, the way it's described to me is you have 100% camo in every area of the game, assuming that you're
Whoa.
going to replay it with it on. Is that that's what it read like? I didn't test it.
I don't remember. I know that
Started the
Ends
game
is
loop.
really great camo. I assume that hers is also great, but yeah, I forget.
It's just called Snake, and it's just like a classic looking outfit.
Oh, okay.
And you just pick that up essentially, and then it just starts the cutscene, which I never looked to see what it looks like if you've been shooting her the whole time, but she doesn't have any blood. It like was she all bloody in yours and stuff?
No, I think it's
No?
probably picking up from the same point there. Yeah.
Same point then.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Dan,
I wonder
please.
if your stats still acknowledge a kill. If that's like your one kill.
No, they wouldn't do that to you.
That was like my 550th kill.
Why not?
Probably.
Man? Yeah.
Look out, the cat's here.
This cat's name is Boss, and he just jumped up as soon as we're talking about the boss. He ate shit. He totally fell, but the boss is here. Yes.
Wow.
Is he a Maine Coon cat?
Ragdoll.
Oh, Ragdoll. Sorry. I love
Yeah,
cats.
he's great. The button press thing. So I played through it for the first time in like 2 days in November in the dorms, and then I remember over winter break I went back home and I played it again. And at the time, my sister Kayla, some of you might have seen her stream on Twitch before. She was really little, and when she was really little, she only watched me play every game. She was obsessed with watching me
That's
play
cute.
games. And yeah, and so she watched all of my second playthrough of Snake Eater, and she was 10 years old, and she loved the boss so much. She just thought the boss was the coolest. And it got down to the thing, and I turned to her. She was on the couch behind me, and I was like, Kayla, you got to pull the trigger. She's like, no. And I was like, press circle, Kayla. You have to do it. Do it for your country. And like Kayla just like closed her eyes, like, no, and then press the button.
Oh my God.
And she just remembered that she was telling that story a bunch while she's streaming it, that it's just like haunted her. It's like, I didn't want to kill her.
That's a very older brother story.
Oh yeah.
That is. Yeah, I love that.
Well, the Miorch says maybe you should have a tougher time on PS5 because they say for most of the playthrough of Delta, I was happy to have an excuse to replay Metal Gear Solid 3 again, but didn't really see that much of a reason for the remake to exist until two tiny parts of the ending. First, when I pulled the trigger after fighting the boss, the adaptive R2 button on the PS5 controller provided a ton of resistance, which caught me by surprise and heightened
That's
the
cool.
moment a lot. And then in the final shot of the game, the greater detail and emotion on Snake's face really hit me.
Him tearing up was getting me close to tearing up because Such a dumb, lovable idiot boy. I love him.
That's how he's known. The idiot boy, big boss.
He's a stupid
That's how Dan
idiot
talks to his
man.
cat.
Yeah, he does feel like it. Yeah.
Well, it's just also something where this is clearly like something that loves hyper masculinity, and like to permit him to be a sad boy and give him some tears. I was like, thank you for that. He deserves those little tears.
Yeah.
That's where I learned
nice.
that you're allowed to cry as a man.
It's an important lesson.
That's
I think.
really brave.
Yeah.
No, Dan didn't learn that. He's
No,
to this day.
my dad told me very different the whole time I was growing up.
Interesting.
You're only allowed to cry after you kill your mom.
Yes,
That's the
yeah.
one time.
So I've never cried yet.
And then you get one tear.
Yeah, one while I'm still looting.
I do like that scene with Ava, where they make sweet love to each other. But I do think it's really cool, like as he's listening to the tape and he's just like all dejected on the couch, and you can see like last night's events kind of replaying behind them, like it's kind of like doubling up the models of Snake in the room. I think it's a cool idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
The kissing animations, I feel like could use some work. I don't think that was as sexy as it probably
I was
could have
so
been.
embarrassed watching that in front of like 80 or whatever people were watching me stream. I was just like, also in full Snake cosplay. Just watching them have sex.
Were you in character during that moment?
Yeah.
What was the? Were you like?
This was
I
awesome.
remember
I remember.
this.
Yes. That's what
Charles,
I
you
kept
finally
reading.
got to see. Charles finally got to see Snake without a shirt on. That was probably pretty cool.
Oh yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, I kept looking through for you, Haley. Every time I was like, is the shirt off better here? It's not. Is the shirt off better here? It's not. So I don't know if you have some. If everyone else has some shirt off is better camo mod that I don't have.
No, I would just play like an
Better
action
camo
game
mod.
like Dan, so I didn't care that I was naked. I would just run through and shooting everybody with a AK-47.
Well, there you
But
go.
yeah, no, I was headcanoning. I was watching like a memory of mine. Just kind of how I was playing it. It was hard to parse at times because I was getting surprised by what was happening. But
It's a mess.
Really.
It has been so long. My memory was that he didn't shake LBJ's hand. I forgot that it's like hesitation,
It's
but
it's the Rumsfeld looking guy.
it's
Yeah.
the CIA director. But why
Yeah.
does he shake LBJ's hand? Do you think that's just basic presidential respect? Like he
It's the
pauses, he
president, I
hesitates,
guess.
but wouldn't it be
kinda
more
have to.
impactful if he was like, "See ya" to the president?
I think it goes in the paper if you don't shake the president's hand, but it's just some dork over there. It's like, whatever, I can snub him. Although,
see
that
it
is
as,
one of
like-
my favorite just forced lines afterwards, is like right after he snubs him, and then we'll go, we could use someone like him in our special forces, someone who combines the skills of an agent and a soldier. It could be some kind of foxhound. Like, yeah.
This is, again, the best game ever, the best ending ever. However, it's like, I think this is so much cleaner if it's just like the core impact of, oh my God, the boss gave her life for this country and they stabbed her in the back. She's going down as a
Villain.
war criminal. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. And now I cannot be with the government anymore, and I'm just establishing outer heaven, building up the military without frontiers, all that stuff. But it's not that. Like, he goes back and works for Foxhound
Yes.
for the army. It's like, it is such a labyrinthian path for him. Like, I'm trying to go back on the country, but kind of sort of for a little bit, and then this and then that. It's just, he has such a weird trajectory.
I think that's something that kind of frustrated me about them doing Peace Walker and stuff afterwards, is like, as soon as they said this was going to be Big Boss, I was like, oh, great. This is going to be the, Breaking Bad before Breaking Bad was a thing of like, we're going to see the heel turn.
Yeah.
We're going to see the thing that disillusioned him so much that he becomes a villain. And it's like, yeah, you see the seeds get planted of his first time of being like, wait, this is kind of f***ed up, right?
Right.
But then it's like, I guess I'm still working for the army, for decades or whatever.
Right. And he's got complicated intentions with that. I get it, but it's not as clean as I wanted it to be.
It wasn't clear as someone who didn't know he was a antagonist in later games because he forgot. Like, the ending didn't imply that to me. I was like, man, this guy's just really sad.
But I mean,
That's you.
but you got the idea that he's a little bit disillusioned by the government, though.
No, yeah,
Okay.
not to say I thought as a isolated story it was very effective, but it is an interesting thing that you guys were like, I wanted to see him turn, and I was like, I didn't even get to see him considering turning, just that this was like an impactful 2 weeks.
Right.
A big 2 weeks for him.
LBJ's the reason he's called Big Boss also?
Well, yes, of course.
He surpassed even the boss. Yeah.
You surprised even the boss. I'll call you Big boss. Like, I don't know. I
Look, that's how he got to be president. He's a wordsmith.
You guys have heard those secret tapes where he's just complaining about his balls.
Pants.
Yeah.
Yeah, his pants. Yeah.
It's very
good
good.
stuff.
What?
Those should have been hidden codecs.
There's recordings of LBJ in the Oval Office just complaining about his nuts in his pants and how they don't fit, and like it's some pretty good
It's
stuff.
incredible. It's so good.
Wow.
I was also in that scene distracted by the fact that Sigint like couldn't put on like a jacket, like he's got a hat on, like everyone's like wearing a suit to meet the president, and Sigint like just was fishing or something.
He just got off the plane, you know?
Yeah, come on. It's
It
just
made me sad when he walked by the mall and paramedic was very visibly excited to congratulate him, and he like ignored her. That made me sad because it's like it's the one time you guys are face to face in person. All that flirting and all the talking about movies.
I felt a lot of sexual tension between them in that scene. Maybe that was just me reading too much into it.
No, she's like, and then he just like
He let
joking.
one
I'm
in,
just
and it ruined him, so he's done.
Incel forever.
That was Snake's first kiss in this game.
Yeah.
His
Have
first
you,
kiss, and then she, I guess, became the mother of his children. So he's
yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Unwilling.
the celibacy people trying to say what happens when you kiss people. Then you'll have 1 million babies. Don't kiss.
Now, did you guys see the secret theater stuff, like Metal Gear Stupid?
I watched the only one that I had unlocked.
Okay, so the one that unlocks is a new one they made for this.
Yeah.
I would highly recommend watching the original ones. If you just search for, Snake Eater, Demo Theater, Subsistence, or whatever, you'll see like a highlight of all of them. Some of Metal Gear Stupid and a couple of the other ones are just inspired stupidity. They use the end game, like the full weight of the cutscene power of that game to tell the dumbest little sketches. It's wonderful.
Like Haley, just to spoil one, there's one that's about the CIA director, the guy whose hand he doesn't shake, and him trying to get revenge. And it's like that scene when he first lands after the Virtuous mission, and instead of the boss kicking Snake's ass, it's the CIA director. But then it's them in the flower field at the end, and they literally, there's a circle of people around them clapping as they hold hands and go in a circle, and then they kiss. Snake and the CIA director. It is.
This is in the game.
It is elaborately done. But the new ones I think are funny and good. It's like, there's the one where it's Granin instead of Volgan as he's fighting. I assume that's the one that you saw. Oh wait, no,
I've only seen the one where he does the fireball thing at the helicopter.
Sokolov does like the
That's what I
Kamehameha.
saw.
Yeah. There's another new one. Where it's Granin and he's in Volgan's spot and he's kicking everybody's ass. But it's very funny because they keep just replaying that audio of him being like, "It's legs." Legs, and so every time he does interacts with legs anyway, he yells legs. He when he shoots Sokolov in the legs, he's like, "What matters is legs, bang bang," and then shoots Sokolov, and then he's like legs, and he kicks the boss in her leg.
Can, hear the splicing.
Yeah.
Of
Oh,
audio,
it's so forced, but it's
I love
delightfully
that.
stupid.
I do need to sit down and watch it as like a YouTube, just like someone who just has them all, because I don't actually want to go on. They're actually kind of hard to unlock, actually.
Yeah, you have to find all these hidden reels and all this stuff. Yeah, just watch.
You can't kill them. Like if you kill someone who has a reel or knock them out, you actually see the film spool explode.
Really?
Which is looks cool.
Yeah.
Like you have to hold them up. You have to hold them up to get you have to notice they have it, and you have to hold them up to get the film reel.
You see it in their pockets sticking out or something?
Yeah, it's like attached to their backpack and stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
interesting.
Wow, I never realized that. Jeez.
Yeah.
This game's crazy.
I did get to play the Nightmare game though.
Yay!
Oh, right, because
talked about
when you
that.
beat it, it just shows up as a menu
Oh,
item, right?
yeah. Okay.
So I got to see it, and I was like, "Wow, cool." I don't know. I still don't know the full context before or after. Do you just go until you die? You automatically die at a certain point, or is it
I think it
just
just
kinda
ends
beat
at a
it.
certain point.
Yeah, you can be the big
Yeah.
vampire type thing at the end.
And then he kind of goes like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god!"
But there's a
And
perfect
then-
dodge, and there's all the. It was just cool. I thought
Do you after the nightmare? Did you guys talk about the Sigint call you can make?
Oh yes.
Yeah, we did.
Oh yeah. We
Yeah.
got.
Oh, the poop
Johnny
tank.
Poopy
Okay.
Pants.
This
Okay,
is the
great,
deepest dive, Dan. Please.
Okay. Okay. Good. Excellent.
Victor Pham writes in.
Thrust our hands into the muck.
That's right.
Good.
They say, I found that the ending scene in the new version just doesn't feel as effective with the engine and lighting changes. Am I nuts? Sometimes technical limitations inform a creative choice, and the lighting and color palette of the original just fit the scene more. I know that was an easy thing of people just showing the scenes side by side. And it is very much
Yes.
that Shadow of the Colossus comparison with the remake on PS4 and stuff.
100%.
I get
the
it.
Painterly game and
Yeah, but they do have that filter option in this that you can have more of the classic colors if you want it. But I don't know. The original game is still there. Play it on PS2 if you want it. I thought this game looked good. I'm fine with it.
I think it
love
looks
the way
great.
I really have problems with it. Yeah.
Honestly, that one scene when he's walking up to the grave is the only time when I was playing through the remake for the first time that I was like, yeah, this looks a little, there's just something kind of stilted about, he's the PS2 model still kind of walking, and the lights are a little like, I understand, but I noticed it too. I just can't say it bothered me. It's like you said, Ben, it's the Shadow of the Colossus.
Just another
thing.
interpretation.
It's cleaned up. It's just cleaned up. I love the way the first one looks with all the bloom and the rays coming in, but it looks great here too.
Yeah.
The part where I was like, oh, it's weird that this looks so realistic is Ocelot's first appearance, where I just had to recalibrate my brain, and I was like, okay, if I'm picturing this as a PS2 character, it makes all his weird behaviors in the cameras make more sense. I'm like, oh, they couldn't, I don't know, there was some kind of technological limitation, and then I was just like, okay, this is just the style. But I don't think I would get to the end and then be like, they ruined it. So I thought that was fine.
Yeah. Joel Hopkins writes in on Patreon, they say, after the Volgan and Shagohod fight, when he gets hit by the lightning and is set on fire, they play a little bit of the Man on Fire music sting from Metal Gear Solid 5.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cute.
For such a 1-to-1 remake, it's interesting that they added this in. I liked it and wish there was more stuff like this. I also heard that like the sound of somebody else wrote in about it, sorry I didn't read it in the past, but the reflex noise from Metal Gear Solid 5, that they put that in there in certain moments as well,
okay.
which I didn't catch, but that's cool that they're working backwards like that.
Do you remember? My memory is we were watching the Game Awards at my apartment back then, and we saw the Phantom Pain trailer before they said it was Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yes.
And like in real time,
yes.
I remember us seeing the Twitter feed be like, oh, look, the letters fit into here and everything. And then I think we went through the trailer and there was the Volgan thing where you see the legs on fire. There's just a dude in the hallway at the hospital on fire, and then the legs, and there were like side-by-side pictures on Twitter, and it's like, oh my God, is that the Volgan's back and he's just always on fire? Like, it seemed at first like, oh, this is some weird conspiracy theory thing. But then you look at it and it's like, that's pretty distinct the way this thing like looks. And sure enough.
Is that what they were not calling it Metal Gear? Like,
right. It was Joaquin Mogren was the creative director. It was Moby Dick Studios, a studio no one had ever heard of. But then after the Game Awards, all the Moby Dick studio people in those shirts. Yes, it was just called the Phantom Pain. But the logo had little like cut-ins that like people were able to like, if you use that font, the words Metal Gear Solid fit right into those little things. But yeah, people were starting to realize that night that like, why are all these guys from the studio we haven't heard of partying with Konami at the Game Awards? And like, just very quickly people realized it. But then Kojima kept up the joke for a while, doing interviews as a full bandaged up dude with his name is Joaquin Mogren, which is an anagram of Hideo Kojima, and like doing interviews with Jeff Keighley about like, no, this is my studio, it's Moby Dick Studio, and like they had like an actor playing a Swedish guy whose name to mix up a video.
Yeah, it was great.
I love it. And
developers do more.
That's the thing. On Twitter at the time, all these games media people were complaining like, no, we're trying to cover this as a serious thing and you're doing these pranks on us. And it's like, this is not okay. And I'm like, no, this is this amazing. We need way more of this fun
Twitter,
stuff.
It was just freaking... Matt Helgeson is the one I remember being like, this is the dumbest thing. Just, we need it for the magazine. Just tell us if this is Metal Gear Solid 5. It's like, who cares about the magazine?
Keep this up.
Jesus, come on.
I loved it, yeah. I mean, I always say, like, I know people got upset about manipulating The Last of Us 2 trailers to imply certain things about it. I love that stuff. Like, I don't know. I don't mind, like, being fooled beforehand if it improves the experience later. I don't know. But
Kyle, are you saying you're a bit of a Johnny Lang type? Lie to me?
Yes, and
stretch.
Hey, the blues musician. But I hate when I can't help with the joke.
Ben, did you just make a Johnny Lang reference on a video game podcast in 2025? My dad would get that reference.
Yeah, Ben, this is serious. We're talking about an important culture. We can't make these kind of jokes.
Wow. Yeah, you got to be serious.
Right. Bob Beal writes in and says, "Hey, Ocelot is revealed as the rat during the codec agent at the end of the game, and this is foreshadowed super early on in the game. If you shake down Ocelot after the cutscene where he gets knocked out by Ava's bike, the first item that he drops is a mousetrap."
I wondered why he dropped a mousetrap.
Do you think that's the idea?
Oh, because he's a rat.
I think you actually called that out, Haley.
You did.
Yeah, no,
you did.
We noticed that.
Well, I never connected to anything, so I might as well not,
Haley said something like, "Oh, it's so crazy this game has mousetrap." Like, I don't remember what you said, And Ben and Kyle were like, well, you'll understand later. And I was like, oh, mousetraps are going to be like a real important game mechanic. I kept waiting for some like mousetrap sequence that was going to come up. I didn't realize this was
And I was definitely going along with Ben because I did not know what the totally.
This is just the deepest dive where Charles and I get gaslit for 6 hours and then finally learn what happens.
All right, other things that we haven't talked about from the last chunk of this game?
My ending title was Panther.
I was too. Congratulations.
I don't remember what I was.
I
killed like 400 people or something.
I killed 145.
The chat said, Haley, that you killed 325.
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
I was at like
That's
180.
That's lower than I thought, honestly.
Also, there's two things. One, were they talking Russian the whole time? Because that's a thing when he's talking to Sokolov. He's like, Your Russian's really good. By the way.
Yeah, I think it's doing that. Was it Hunt for Red October thing where they do the thing where they like zoom in and they're speaking Russian, they zoom out and they're speaking English just to tell you like, hey, they're actually speaking Russian. Like,
right.
I think it's
I
like
like that.
I was just curious of like, she calls him a blockhead, and I was like, I wonder what that is in Russian. I wonder what the Russian translation blockhead. But then the real thing was, the boss says, it's the deepest dive. All right, I'm getting my specifics.
No.
The boss says there's only room for one boss and one snake.
Yeah.
And I thought that was interesting because there's not like a surplus. Like, I guess she's saying he has to become the boss, but it's not like there's another snake.
But
so
I think they're also, that's just kind of like a reference, I think, because they always said there's only room for one snake and one big boss was a line from the previous games. Okay. And I think Liquid yells that at Solid. So I think it's more of a reference for like fans than something that makes sense on its own,
That's something that makes sense. God forbid.
Yeah.
There's only room for one. Yeah.
I still think it's funny thinking of Volgan as his big plan for world domination, all this stuff, where he's like, we had it all. We had the Philosopher's Legacy, and then our trump cards was we had the Shagohod and the Cobra unit. I'm like, are you going to try and rule the world with one tank and a 90-year-old sniper? Like, what is
seen those dudes?
I mean, with the fear, what, you going to take on a whole army? I killed them with, a crossbow in 4 minutes. Like, it was not really a formidable opponent.
One of the other guys I killed because I didn't play it for a few days.
Right. Also, one of your guys is already dead.
Yeah.
So
yeah, one of them's a ghost.
Yeah, it's just like such a weird trump card to be like, we're unstoppable. Have you seen the Shagohod? It's kind of cool. It's got corkscrew things.
I did have the thing where at the start I was like, I wonder like if it's going to be Volgan or the boss. Like, I wonder who's on top of things. And at the end, it's like, wow, Volgan could not have been less on top of things. Every turn, it's even like, yeah, I mean, the mission was going
those
great.
meetings, Charles. Those meetings you kept imagining him. He just was like zoning out.
Like Eva was talking about, it's like, yeah, the American mission was going great, and then Volgan for some reason just nuked an area. And
right.
all of a sudden, Russia's got this like civil war brewing. It's like, oh, it's just kind of all Volgan's fault, and he doesn't even know it, and he's just not even.
It's a real unforced error. I'm just like, hey, check this out. Like, that causes everything.
And Ocelot's like, why? And he's like, ah, like it's just crazy.
Remember the Alamo.
I liked, and we all do, but I liked when they're in the cave being all flirty and whatnot. And first of all, when Ava makes the little C3 into the butterfly, I really want to make a toy out of plastic explosives. Doesn't it look fun? I just want to play with that. I want to see what it feels like.
You could also do, just do Play-Doh,
Yeah, and then blow it up at the end.
Around your house.
Is that right?
Yeah,
I'm write this down.
Blow it up.
Can't you
Put it in
blow
the
up?
microwave or something.
There's some spy movie where they squeeze silly putty and put it on a safe, and then explode.
And it's
They
silly
light it on
putty?
fire. Yeah.
There's the
Probably
stuff in
Naked
Die Hard
Gun.
with a Vengeance that's like a little liquid thing that blows up.
Yeah. But anyways, when they're in the cave, and then Ava is on her bike again, and she's driving out of the cave on the bike, and then Snake goes, "Hey!" She turns around, she goes, "What?" And he goes, "You're gonna get wet again." And then she just continues to drive out through the water. Is the weirdest? Is it supposed to be like flirty and fun, or what is it? Is
I
it?
think that he just is very literal, emotionally connecting with people. I genuinely think that's just his characterization.
There's water falling on a waterfall. If you go under it, water will get on you, Ava. It's like it's confusing.
Say what you see, boss.
It really is that. It really is, yeah. Also, I forgot how cool it is in the cave. Like, the first time he has the real eye patch on, he looks so sweet. And like, you know, when he's waking up and he's got like the full camo and he's got,
Yeah.
like,
He's going to town on that snake.
Yeah.
He's
Man loves a.
It really is.
It's like State Fair style too.
He's like, you've never eaten
confident.
snakes before? She's like, no, we ate normal food. And he's like,
also, they explain sushi to each other. It's like, there's this new fancy thing called sushi. It's a little raw. I don't know. Where it's like, I guess in America in the 60s, I guess sushi was like as exotic as you could get. I'm trying to think of when it started being imported.
Ramen too, right? Don't they dive deep on ramen?
She gives him the like microwave ramen, the top ramen stuff in the mountains.
Yeah. Oh, that really refills
Freaks
your
out about
stamina.
Yeah.
Haley, final thoughts on Metal Gear Solid Delta?
It really grows on you.
Yeah?
It's funny how it does. Oh, yeah, for sure. It's just so silly and dumb, but you're like, oh, I love it. Stupid thing.
Engaging though, like I don't know. I get like you get really stuck. I do. Is there a universe where you play? Which I guess probably one would be the next one that you should play if you're going to play one.
Probably.
Do you think you would, or will rather?
Maybe if it just had more time in my life, yeah. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of the only thing. It's just like it's so hard to squeeze things in, and that's coming from me.
She's very
I
good
guess
at
my
playing
question is
games.
more like, are you like I want to know what happens next? You know, like are you curious? You know,
A little bit. I think it's more of just like this is the most fun game I've ever streamed. Like this is
Yeah.
like the perfect streaming game because
Yes.
it's so silly and the randomest stuff happens and it's so like you can never just go into a cutscene and relax, even if it's information explaining at you thing, because then it'll end the cutscene and someone will be like, "Oh, I have bees," and you're like, "What?" Like it's just all the time that kind of feeling. So it was like the perfect game to just play with a bunch. It also was. I think we talked about it last time. It's just so fun to just be like, give me hints but no spoilers, and then just listening to chat and them saying, "Wait, right here." Do this weird spin in a circle
Yes.
2 times and then
Right,
doing that
right.
and then having fun. Like it's the perfect way to do that because I don't just have to watch a YouTube video later. I get to actually experience it. And also it's surprising because I don't Google funniest things in Metal Gear and then I do it. Like who wants to do that? So it's that kind of perfect thing. Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain like is way less of that silliness. There is some, but like really just the Fulton stuck out as like really comedic, like the way
And
you
like
Fulton your
the-
horse and stuff. But
The cardboard thing being like the lady
Yeah.
that you can pop up and like, you know, telling the horse to take a shit. and
That
stuff
is
like
the
Like,
big
it's got-
one.
yeah,
It's
that
mostly
kind of stuff.
gameplay stuff. The rocket fist, you know, it's mostly gameplay stuff
Yeah.
where it's like a lot of it in the old ones are story based.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the story-based stuff is what got me. I just thought, like, what is happening? Like fun, silly energy.
Yeah.
it is.
You
It
know.
is something with like Kojima moving forward, like into 5 and then the Death Stranding is like I feel like that he has scaled. I mean, people, the joke or you know the criticism is like Kojima needs an editor. And I do feel like maybe it's a matter of production value or just more expensive now. But like Death Stranding 1 and 2 and Metal Gear Solid 5, I feel like they just scaled back the amount of storytelling and cutscenes in it. And it always kind of bummed me out because that's why I personally play these games. You know, it's like I want to see interesting cutscenes and weird dialogue sequences. And it's like, yeah, so I don't know. I like this was like it was nice to revisit this and be like, oh yeah, this is when he didn't feel the need to restrain himself. You know,
I feel like 2 is like Death Stranding 2. He puts a lot more than he did the first one, where it's like, you know, I played
That's
the hell
true,
out of that
yeah.
game, and I keep hearing stuff like, oh, if you fall asleep against the coffin board, and he has this one nightmare, and this happens. Like
Oh
there
my
is just a
gosh,
lot
iconic.
of weird
the characters
stuff that.
kissing. Yeah,
Right. Yeah. So it's I don't know. He's still having his fun for sure.
Yes.
5 though felt weirdly serious for Metal Gear.
It's
you know?
more like the fun gets tucked into Easter egg / gameplay only and not in cutscenes anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and Charles, I'm curious for you because you've played 1, 2, and 3 now with the benefit of like seeing them for what they are. Like you don't have the nostalgia for them like me and Dan and Ben do. But like, how would you rank them now at this point? 1, 2, and 3.
oh, that's so fascinating. I don't know because I like them all very differently. I like the experience of playing 3 in the Delta version way more than I liked playing 1 or 2, just
Yeah.
like the literal gameplay,
That's not-
because that was
Yeah.
the stealth was particularly frustrating. I just don't like the way the cameras were. For some reason, and I don't know if I went back to 1 if I would still feel it, but that's the one that still stands out in my mind where I was like, that really did it for me. Like just the Metal Gear Solid 1, which
Yeah.
I would expect it to not be the case. But I also see how, like, I don't know, they're all really a big deal because 2, the ending of 2 is so weird. It's like, just dips into like a surrealist space where like Haley, there's like live action footage at one point that doesn't really.
weird.
I don't think has anything to do with the game, but then Dan's going to be like, actually, that was blah blah's sister, and it's actually his real life, whatever.
Poopy Johnny's wife.
That's Poopy Johnny's
That's in
wife.
4.
You've met Poopy Johnny's wife.
You have.
I'm sure I have. Whatever
That's
you
nice,
say,
Dad.
Grandpa. But it's just I don't know. I want to say 1 is my favorite. Also, one is the silliest in its earnestness, which is something I find very funny. Where there's lines like, I did mention that the one thing I was missing from 3 is I was like, there's no one that's really whiny, because I found the whiny characters in 1 and 2. I just thought they were so funny.
Otacon.
Like Otacon
and
and
Emma, yeah.
honestly Raiden, but
Yeah.
just the way it's like, oh, I can't do anything. I really need help. Don't worry, I'll be here and this other thing. I don't know. That's like a dynamic I really enjoyed, and I don't know. I'm kind of rambling at this point, but I'm gonna say 1, 1, 3, 2.
Okay,
But
interesting.
if you talk to me on a different day of the week, it would probably change.
Yeah, it's so
Two
boring.
still to this day remains my favorite. It's the one
Yeah.
that was the most impactful in the moment, I think, so to speak. You know, like 3 is more
Yeah.
fun to revisit, but like true, we've joked about it before, Ben, of like the greatest work of art of all time. Like there's few things in this world that have affected me in the way the ending of Metal Gear Solid 2 has. Like truly
I would
in
say
fiction.
Metal Gear Solid 2 is probably my number 1 in terms of just things that have affected me in entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben, what's yours?
My ranking is so boring. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like 1 is my favorite.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So 5 low, huh?
5 low. But I still like it. But I was not as keen on the gameplay as everybody else was, you know.
Oh,
but
really?
I'm
love
more
the
of a
gameplay
defender of the
in 5.
story, I think, in 5 than other people. So it's kind of a little.
It's so
wonky.
fun to just stick around in that game and test stuff out.
Yeah.
I'm just not creative enough for 5. I think
kind of feel that same way.
for me.
Yeah.
But
I do feel like 1 is like in my life the most time and place thing ever, and that I was 14 years old and that game came out, and like Charles, you talk about being surprised now at like, oh wow, they did the footprints in the snow thing. I remember just reading the instruction manual before I played and being like, oh yeah, you can lean against the wall and you can knock and they'll hear you and walk over here, and then the footprints and all this stuff. And it just completely blew my mind. And again, at a time where games weren't being cinematic and have all this voice acting and real stories and stuff, like I cannot overstate the impact that first time playing that at 14 years old had.
I've made a joke kind of lately where like people will say, oh, I really like this old game, and I'm like, yeah, but it's not good. Like people that like games that came out before a certain year, I'm like, but you can't go back and actually like earnestly enjoy them. And Metal Gear Solid 1, I was like, dang, maybe I was wrong. Maybe old games are still good sometimes. I think that's what really caught me off guard about it, where I was like, there's a lot to like about this game even coming at it in the 2020s.
So many veteran games journalists just rolled in their graves.
No, we were lifted out of the grave.
Cheered.
Yeah.
I just heard a
Feel
bunch of
high
people-
for the first time, man.
We'll never grow old. We'll never die.
Sky. Yeah.
It's been a breath of fresh air to have 2 people playing this game for the first time again that we all love. So thank you for providing a fresh perspective that we could ogle at you as you went through this whole thing. So
That we could R1 to you.
in a tasteful way.
Yes.
Thank you, Haley and Charles, and also everybody else playing along in the community, especially everybody who played it for the first time. Greatly appreciate it.
Hold those
Everyone
tears
who
back,
supported
man.
us on Patreon to submit a comment along the way, unlock the podcast version. Can't thank you all enough. Oh, hang on. I accidentally saluted early. Also, everyone, if you've enjoyed this discussion, you've been watching on YouTube, and you say, you know what? I like Metal Gear. I like that these folks were given Delta the discussion it deserves. Greatly appreciate you jumping in. If you jump in before this coming Monday, September 29th, at the $5 tier, we will DM you a Steam code for the Rogue Prince of Persia. Get a great game, support independent games media. We appreciate it before this Monday. All right, Kyle, are you going to be the one person who's not going to do it? Are you out of your... All right.
Do you tuck the thumb or does it go along with the...
And does it have to be the right hand?
I don't know.
That should be the right hand.
It should be
It's like
the
the
right
sign of
hand.
the cross has rules. I assume this does too. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We're going to salute in the sign of the
Yeah,
cross.
yeah,
Okay.
Have an iPad?
All right, there we go, everybody. Can't thank you all enough. We'll be back for another Deepest Dive in the future. Until next time, be good, have fun, let's go.
For the mission.
Did you know that you can double the amount of MinnMax podcasts you listen to every single week right in your favorite podcast app? All you have to do is go to patreon.com/MinnMax with 2 N's, jump in at that $5 tier, and then you're good to go. You have the podcast version of The Deepest Dive, Max Spoilers, MinnMax Interviews, weekly access to Bonus Pod, which is our Patreon exclusive podcast. It's very good. And early and ad-free versions of the MinnMax Show podcast every single week. There's a ton of content in there, and it's a way to directly support what we do here at MinnMax.